Hello, everyone. Let me make sure. Okay. Everything seems fine. So,
Everybody
yeah,
get to the
whatever,
end.
purple.
We can protect you at the end.
All right. Hello, everyone. Whoever's watching, we're just gonna hang out. I'm gonna keep trying to do this. I want to try a different class.
By all six gods, what is that thing? It's huge!
That, soldier, is a threat. We're going to take it down.
What's the? There it is. Am I using my filter? Yeah. All right. Ow, no. Stop it. I love that you can cheat here so quickly. It's the same in the Norn one. The Norn one is super... if you happen to be there at the perfect time, you can just go to the end boss. Here you can always go up here. Look at all these new players! Oh my god, it's so nice to have all these new people playing. Oh man. That experience of playing Guild Wars 2 for the first time, nothing beats that. Nothing. Like nothing.
Brace yourselves. Think it's gonna explode.
I think it's gonna explode.
I just keep getting better.
So we do the same rules, only. But I'm gonna change a little bit. First of all, I'm gonna put an outfit on because I hate this, like. Yeah, whatever. Let's do a cool outfit. So I'm gonna do the same idea. Of doing. Oh, we could do like an assassin outfit. Let's do that. Same idea, but this time, what I'm gonna do. Why am I already level 3? It's crazy. That's craziness.
What do you need?
Okay, let's do this. Okay. Let me see. Do I have what is? Okay, so let's change some of these rules. Assertive weapon only. No new skills. Okay, hold on. No new skills, no traits. Only found armor. No waypointing, no gliding, first person. I'll take that out. Let's do first person, no way. I think it really enhances this in any. Only let the one healing skill have to be in appropriate zones. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to leave that in there. Put that on screen. Okay, I don't know what I'm moving. Okay. I don't want to move that. Oh. Why is that not? Okay, it's locked. I don't know why. Hey, Miss Lorveth, how are you? It's a little too big. We'll leave it there. Whatever. At least it's on screen. All right, we're gonna attempt this again. I'm not gonna do first person. I'm just gonna do regular third person. But yeah, we're gonna attempt this with a thief, but we're gonna keep the rule of just using the starter weapon. So we'll see how well this goes for us. Cause I don't know.
It's tough to prosper nowadays, but we try.
Oh really? There's 2 bleeding and 2 poison? That might actually be really good. I mean, we'll have to see how this works out, armor-wise. And like leveling-wise. I don't think I've attempted. I've always done warrior, but maybe you could do it. I mean, the only one that I really wouldn't recommend doing this on is a ranger, because ranger is like easy mode anyways with the pet. And a longbow. They give you a longbow now. They used to give you an axe when you started the game. Now they give you a longbow, which is like, that's kind of crazy anyways. Alright. Boom.
That's how it's done.
Okay, so we have Twisting Fangs as well, which does a ton of bleeding. So this might be really, really good. This might be one of the better weapons. I don't know if it's the best weapon as a starter weapon to have. Obviously, stat-wise, they all suck, but the quick attack and the multiple conditions that you can inflict on it at will, plus doing the Heartseeker like extra damage when they're low health. And we're gonna get steel too. Oh my god. Destroy that egg. Okay. Okay. Earth Elemental. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about ore. I mean, there isn't, you know, that much to talk about, but I still think that a lot of people really miss the idea that ore is a floating city. Like, it's crazy to me because I saw a lot of people talk about ore and you know, the blog post today. And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's just the same old information. I'm like, no, it's not. Are you kidding? That is like whole new information. We never knew that ore was a floating city, but it, you know, thinking about it, it makes so much sense, really. Like, it makes a ton of sense. And it crashed down at some point in time, maybe during the Cataclysm, maybe before then. We don't know, but it's really interesting to think about. Like, you know, that being the case. I think that changes a lot, and that changes, and I think that kind of also enhances my theory a little bit on specifically the idea of having multiple layers to the game, because if we have the city floating, there could be other floating, like there's gliding is already pre-programmed into the game, right? Like, we know that's going to be a part of it. And you know, so it's like, okay, we could get sky islands that we could float to or something like that, you know. I don't know. I think the prospect is really, really, really interesting, and I think there's a lot to explore. Guild Wars 3 is going to be in the past. It's going to be 1200 years in the past, around there. We don't know exactly the date, but we were told that it's going to be 1200 years in the past from Guild Wars 1, meaning that it's going to be 1450 years in the past from the start of Guild Wars 2. So it's going to be very much like way in the past. Yeah.
I achieve things. I'm an
Okay,
achiever.
so I can steal now. That might be interesting to have as a mechanic. There's so much I haven't explored, but I can only imagine some of the content we'd get. Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about it, and I now that we have this new information from today about pretty much like, hey, there could be like floating, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, if Ara as the floating, like, that doesn't have to be the only floating city or the only floating thing, right? So it definitely leaves the possibility open, as I talked about before, to have like Tears of the Kingdom having multiple layers to the game, you know, where you have like a little bit of a world above and a little bit of a world below the regular playing field, that they can explore because of the movement and because of the, you know, the gliding and the mount system and those types of things, you know. I dodged, I swear I did. Jesus. I'm not that bad at the game. But it's also going to be on a much smaller scale and only going to be contained to ore, which is actually really nice. I think that is probably one of the things that I'm more excited about, because I think one of the things that Guild Wars 2 failed at a little bit was telling these local stories, right? When you think about the start of Guild Wars 2 and we think about the personal story and how that all starts, right? We start out in local areas dealing with local threats, but it turns really global really quickly, because by the time we're level 30, we're now going to the orders, and we're now dealing with things on a more global scale, right? We're now venturing out into areas way beyond our homelands, which is understandable because we have 4 races that are all starting across. Why is that? Okay, weird. And so it makes sense that that is how they went with it, right? Because they wanted to have 5 playable races. They wanted to approach, you know, the Tyria like at large and do the same space that they did in Guild Wars 1. But not, you know, in Guild Wars 1 we started in the same area, so that's why, you know, for something like pre-searing we were able to you know, deal with local threats. That's something that we were able to do there, but we couldn't do that in Guild Wars 2, only to a certain extent. They wanted us to start that way and then slowly work our way up, but that a lot of those stories, a lot of those local stories, they didn't have like a super, you know, deep ending or were really satisfying to finish up, because they just ended very abruptly in a lot of ways. And so it would be really cool to think about, for example, doing something like the Purist or the White Mantle story. I talked about that a little bit. You know, having a tribe of humans, because this is before the humans before they had the kingdom of Or, right? So they were just in these tribal states where they were just kind of hanging out in their probably separate villages and stuff like that. They hadn't really been united under one banner under King Doric yet. So it'll be interesting to see how these, you know, how maybe there's going to be one evil tribe that is misusing this magic, because that's what Bobby Stein said in today's video as well. He talked about how there's some that, you know, misuse this magic, right? And so there's probably some kind of evil faction that is, you know, trying to use the magic to you know, for themselves. And yeah, I don't know, I think it'll be really, really interesting to see how all of that plays out, really. Yeah, I don't know, I'm very, very excited to see what they have cooked up, and also, you know, and I obviously this is maybe thinking a little bit too far ahead, but they clearly have other places planned as well, and they're Colin actually specifically talked about places that we've only heard about, right? So that's something that makes me kind of go, what does that mean, right? Because if we think about places in and around Ore, most of those places we've explored in some shape or form. They were not places that we just heard about. I mean, like I said, Scavenger's Causeway we've only heard about, right? That wasn't something that we've seen. So I'm expecting that the first wave of expansion will be that, right? Like, I think that'll be the first expansion. There will be well, hello. The first expansion will be into the Scavenger's Causeway, or into that area of the world, which was probably a lot more lush and a lot more green than we see it to be, because the Crystal Sea is still directly there. It's not adjacent to a desert, but it's adjacent to a giant sea. And so I would expect that to be the first expansion, so to say, the first expansion of it. We don't know if they're going to do expansions, if they're going to do like a living world type of thing, if they're going to be doing, you know, mini expansions in that sense, or are they going to do large expansions that take place over years and years. Like, you know, we don't know. We don't really know what the plan is for them to do. But I'm guessing the Scavenger's Causeway is going to be the first. They're going to kind of spread out that way. And I'm hoping that we're going to see the Forgotten, like, capital, right? That'll be really, really cool. At some point in time, see that in the you know, close by the Crystal Sea, see that in you know, some shape or form, in some kind of expansion, see the Forgotten capital. And deal with them a lot more. I would like to see more involvement of the elder races. I mean, we've been finding out a lot about them, which is really cool. You know, in Guild Wars 2, we've been finding out a lot about them. But I think that it'll be much more interesting to be a part of those stories that were being told in the past, right? It's almost that's one of the things that I always enjoyed about the fractals and the idea of fractals, is because you don't just hear about those stories, you relive them and you're a part of them. And that's what I really liked about the fractals, and that's why I always wanted them to expand on that a lot more than they ever really did, you know. They just kind of, they were like, oh yeah, you know, you're here with the Kodan and you heard about, you know, the Kodan, the mom there or whatever, and her deal was that you know, she was killed on some kind of hunt or something, and then boom, okay, that's the fractal. She gets killed in the thing, and we have to avenge her, and that's it, right? Like, that's not really, you know, if I had to sort between, you know, if I had to think about what I consider important and what I don't consider important, I really think that that is not an important event that we should have a fractal about, right? That is interesting for us to hear about and see and deal with, you know. It's like there's like 100 other things that I would like to see, and so I think they can do that with Ore if they focus. That's the thing, though, too. A lot of things have happened in Ore, but we have never seen these things, right? There was a lot of events that happened in and around Ore that we have never seen. So that's really, really cool, because if you think about something like Kryda, for example, right? And you guys can go watch it. I have a whole series that's dedicated to the regional lore that explores all of the regions of CORSAIR, that tells you about all the events that have happened. The only thing that can rival Ore in the events that have happened is Ascalon, because Ascalon has had a lot of events too. But something like Kryda hasn't had that much happen. You know, beside the, beside like the settling part, there's like a weird discrepancy about the settling where the, like, I guess the Elonians settled for like a minute here, and then they kind of left again or something like that. And, you know, but beside that, and the White Mantle stuff with the Char invasion, there really isn't that much, you know, in the ancient past that we know about it, right? So it could be interesting because they could tell stories from way back when in Kryda, right? But it's more interesting in Ore because we know things happened we know there were important people, and powerful creatures and all that stuff was there, but we don't know what. And that's what's going to be really, really interesting and fun to explore, I think.
Quickly, we're about to be overrun.
Is that event still stuck? That event, oh no, okay, they just finished it. That event, oh, maybe they didn't. That event was stuck yesterday, which was really sad. It was stuck on like 8 out of 9, and the centaurs that you were supposed to defeat were out on the field and vulnerable right by this tree over here. It was really sad. I was like, no. But yeah, I think that I really think that having a smaller like a smaller scale of the area that we're dealing with, having a smaller scale like that is really, really interesting and leaves the possibility to see some really interesting stories and a very dynamic world. They haven't mentioned anything about that. They haven't mentioned anything about like how dynamic the world will be, but I'm hoping that we have, as I said in today's video, we really have some things that lean on the dynamic event system and really and innovate on that, because I think ArenaNet is taking the best of everything they've learned and they're making a new thing with that, right? They're taking all the different pieces and making a new game with it. And so I really hope that we will see some kind of, you know, innovation on the dynamic event system where they really make these you know, tribal wars or something like that, and really have them be like the Centaur War but on a bigger scale, and feel much more, you know, dramatic in the changes that we see, right? Where like whole villages get destroyed or something like that. And they also talk about the relationship that you have with people, and the land and stuff like that. They talked a little bit about that, how you know, you get to know them more, and then when you do return, they want us to return to certain places, which again, that's kind of one of the things they wanted to do with Guild Wars 2, and they never really did that, right? I remember Rhys Sosby specifically was talking about back then, where she's like, you know, in the manifesto trailer for Guild Wars 2, actually, she talks about how, you know, you save a village from the centaurs and they remember you, right? And they know, like, it's a living, breathing world because these NPCs remember you, and they you know, they will honor you in some way or whatever, right? And I remember, I think I remember something vaguely about them saying like that. They even wanted to do something where, you know, certain cities would honor you in the sense of like they would build a statue in your honor. And that would only happen if you went through the whole event chain and you did all of that, right? And like those things didn't happen, but it'd be really cool to have a living, breathing world where we have people that are playing the game be honored by the NPCs in the way of having, you know, statues built for them, right? And so we now have, you know, Lisa over here. She's, you know, she's the hero of the village of Ren or whatever, because she participated in some event. And so for the next week or whatever, her statue will be put up. Her character model gets, you know, they take her character model from that moment, they make like a stone version of it and they put it in the city center, and they say, well, you know, this is our hero Lisa or whatever, and she just gets memorialized for some time there, you know, until like some kind of other event happens or something. I don't know, but something like that. I mean, that would be really cool. I don't know. I just can't wait to hear more. I think we're gonna get like weekly blog posts. Probably, I don't know. I'm guessing, you know, every Thursday get a blog post. I would be okay with that. I definitely would be. I think I would be very excited to have that. But yeah, I don't know. But it's crazy to see all these new people playing Guild Wars 2. That's awesome. I feel sad for them. I feel really sad that they're experiencing this game so many years after it already come out. I'm not saying it's too late, but I'm saying I feel bad for them because I feel that, you know, the time of, and I've talked about this, you know, I used to be such a big part of the community in the sense of like the theorizing community, you know, where I would sit with people and we'd all theorize on Reddit and we'd come up with all these different things, which I still do it, right? But it's on such a small scale, like barely anyone sees my videos and barely anyone watches my streams and stuff like that, which is fine. But, you know, it just kind of shows that there aren't really that many people that do that anymore or that are interested in that, which is kind of sad. But I hope that maybe with the release of Guild Wars 3, and like the influx of people, there will be an interest in those things. Hey, how are you? Yeah, it's been a while. How are you? It's been a hot minute. Do. How did you like today's news? Are we excited after today? Are we waiting for something else? I think there's people that are I think there are people that are waiting on more specific things. I think a lot of people are kind of holding out for classes and playable races. I think that's gonna have to be. So if we go with what Colin said, okay, so Colin talked about how they want to go. I came back because of Guild Wars 3 news. Nice. Well, I'm glad you're back, and I'm happy you're here, and I hope you're having a good time with it. Honestly, I really do. I think I'm very excited myself. Excited by Guild Wars 1 on mobile. Oh, really? Is that, are you gonna play it on mobile? Have you played? Are you like a Guild Wars 1 veteran? Have you played Guild Wars 1, or is this like a fresh, like new thing for you? Because I am not gonna play it on mobile. I'm not a mobile gamer at all. I barely ever use my phone. I mean, I have like a nice phone now that I kind of had to buy because my old phone was on the brink of death, and I was like, okay, well, I've had this phone for 6 years now. It wasn't a good phone when I bought it. It was a really crappy phone when I bought it, so I had to get a new phone. But I got a nice phone because I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have a phone that I'm gonna keep for the next 6-7 years, I want to have something that's nice now, so that in 6-7 years it's still not that bad. It was one of the high school days. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad that you're excited for Guild Wars 1 on mobile. When I got those news, you know, us partners, we get some of the news a little bit earlier, but when I heard about that, I was like, oh, people are gonna love this. This is gonna be really good. Dude, this guy, Franklin, he's really strong. He's gonna beat me. Gonna whoop my booty. Okay. Alright, everyone. Do your thing. But I can't, you know, it's so weird. I can't wait to try out. It depends on how Guild Wars 3 works. So I was just thinking about that, right? And if Guild Wars 3 works like Guild Wars 1 or like something like Final Fantasy 14 on controller, I don't think I'm going to be playing with controller, but I really do want to like it. But I hate the way that it controls. Like having access to certain skills by having to press like the R button, the R and L buttons. I don't like that. That's a design that I will never get behind. And I hope that they figure out some kind of other way of making it work. Oh my God, there's so...
In bad shape here.
Oh my God. Ah. Kill it. Oh my god, that was scary. I had to stop good due to life, so only after a time. So definitely excited to log back into my account. Best way to pay for it again. Yeah, right. It's so nice to be able to just like pick up where you left off, but you could do it on mobile. And I get it. You know, a lot of people. That's a choice that I made consciously. I consciously made the choice that I don't want to have a life that I have to sit and worry about. Yeah, so that was the choice I did specifically so that I could keep playing the game, or any game really. So you know, but I get it. I mean, you know, not everyone makes that choice, which is totally understandable. Huh. It's a weird icon. But yeah, if we go with what Colin said, right? Colin talked a little bit about, oh god, he's so strong too. Colin talked a little bit about, I'm going to die. He talked about how they want to kind of go in a specific order. And so they wanted to start with the setting of Guild Wars 3. But then the next thing, I think the next thing we're going to hear about is probably going to be the races. Not necessarily the classes. I don't think that that's very important right now. I think that's going to come closer to when combat really gets talked about a little bit more, I think. But I think races, like what playable races, I think that might be the next blog post, if I had to take a guess, right? Yeah, I mean, there's already, I mean, starter maps in Guild Wars 2 are already packed with new people. And I know that I talked about this yesterday because I made a new character yesterday as well for this challenge run or whatever. And I'm telling you, there is new people everywhere. These maps haven't felt this alive for a long time. And they even confirmed that they had the largest increase of new accounts by 40% on Saturday, and they had all these people come back from a year plus, and they had you know, and this is like the largest increase since the Steam release. So that's going to be a lot of money for them as well, because all of those people, if they enjoy the game, I mean, most of them will, right? If most of them are MMO players and most of them enjoy playing MMOs, I think a lot of people are just ready for something else. I think they're done with the Final Fantasy 14s and the WoW. A lot of them, at least. I will recognize that those games are still incredibly popular, but I think a lot of them are a lot of people are done with that form of MMO, and they want something that respects your time and that you can play at your leisure. And so I think we will see a lot of these people that are going to be very happy with the game, and they're going to be buying the expansions and the living world, and they're going to buy gem store skins. I mean, that's the thing, right? You have this increase in players, which is great, you know, but if we take, for example, like if this increase would have happened a year after the game came out, for example, which it wasn't at the time, the game was I mean, I would say like kind of dying in a way. Then the thing is that they didn't have all the content to go for. They didn't have all the gem store skins and all these quality of life features and enhancements that we've gotten over the years, you know. Like, this is such a vast difference, and the product is so much more massive now than it was before, with content and updates and whatever. That I think that we will retain those people even more.
More to explore.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I don't know. I haven't looked around for events, because we know that specifically in the starter maps, and I've made some shorts on that, but specifically in the starter maps, there are certain events that only trigger when there are a lot of people in the area. I haven't checked to see if these events trigger or not. Whoa, look at this guy. He looks awesome. Looks really cool. So I don't know if those are triggering now, but I mean I can just see new people everywhere, right? And you can always identify them by the fact that they have a name with no guild behind them. And when you add them as a friend, you can see well 1,400. So they've been playing for a little bit.
Oh, now that's a view.
You know, they've been playing for a little bit, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be maybe in the tens, you know, hundreds of points that we're going to come across, and those are new people. I mean, 147. You see, like, that is a brand new person. That person probably made the account today or yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, Lisa, we've been journeying along Lisa all day for the last couple of hours now. Yep, 492, right? New person there. Okay, 4,000. So this person has been playing a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do. Oh, not much, Mish. We've just been talking a little bit. You know, I was kind of talking a little bit about what I think the next blog post is going to be. I don't know. There was other things that I talked about. I talked about that early on. I talked about how I think the news of Ara. I think that's the biggest news that came out of today's. There's actually a couple things. One that I haven't talked about yet, but I think one of the most interesting things that came out of today's blog post, or video rather, was the idea that Ara is a floating city, which, you know, I've talked about how I think there could be multiple layers, and I think that definitely confirms that there could be, because they probably want, because gliding is like so integral, it's immediately like they're probably gonna have people be immediately able to glide. So having floating cities and having floating like islands in the sky is probably very much gonna be a thing, right? Like they're probably gonna take the whole magic idea and then, you know, the nature magic and all that to like a level like that. I'm hoping, at least, right? Maybe every Tuesday and Thursday if they want to keep a nice flow each week. I don't know if they're gonna do. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do 2. I think that would be too much, because over a year that would be over 600 blog posts. I don't see that, right? Like, I don't see that happening, but I could definitely see like every Thursday maybe. I mean, you know, with some exceptions maybe. Probably exceptions being when they want to talk about, you know, instead of talking about Guild Wars 3, they're going to be talking about Guild Wars 2 and saying like, okay, well, this Thursday we're doing the, you know, we're introducing you guys to the ore map, the new ore map that's coming out in a month or whatever, right? Or like, you know, we have still Visions of Eternity. I mean, we're in the middle of a Guild Wars 2 expansion. A lot of people forget that as well, right? A lot of people kind of were like, whatever, we're done with this. And we're now talking about Guild Wars 3. No one cares about Guild Wars 2 anymore, but that's not true, right? Like, Guild Wars 2 is still actively being developed, and we're in the middle of an expansion, so we still have an ending to it. However bad it could potentially be, I don't know, but maybe nice bag of info in the early weeks. Probably, yeah, I'm guessing that they're kind of doing that. But if we think about what Colin said, and that they're trying to go in like a chronological order, or not chronological, but in an order that makes sense, right? We could, I think the next blog post is going to be about the races. I don't think we're going to hear about the playable classes or whatever that is until they start talking about the actual combat of the game, which I think is going to be much further down the line. But I think races, because if you guys remember, the trailer that came after the manifesto trailer for Guild Wars 2 was the Races of Tyria, where they introduced us to the 5 playable races. And so I have a feeling that maybe that's what they're going to do too. They're going to tackle that next, I feel like, right? Yeah, I think the classes will be close, not necessarily to the launch. I mean, we have to be introduced to them before the betas. So this is definitely going to come before the betas, right? Like the playable classes. And I think they want to give, you know, if they want to give us enough time to maybe make decisions or theorize a little bit about it, you know, and I'm sure they're having like closed alpha tests as well, you know, for all of this. We're probably going to hear about it, you know, not anytime soon, but I'm saying definitely before the betas of next year, probably a while before those. The reasons are important and need to be discussed with the community. I think so too, and I think that will lead to a lot of hype as well, because I think a lot of people, we saw that with Nian on the chat, that was like kind of they've been commenting on a lot of the videos and stuff, and they talked about how they don't want to play Guild Wars 3 because it doesn't have Sylvari, which I personally think is a little ignorant. Because like I said yesterday, I think that's kind of weird to not play a game because it doesn't have Sylvari, because there's only one game on the planet that has Sylvari as playable characters, and saying that, oh, because, you know, there are no Sylvari in this game, I don't want to play it, seems kind of weird, because then it's like, do you not play any other games? Do you not, you know, like, is that it, right? Guild Wars 2 is your be-all, end-all? Like, that's kind of sad, you know, but whatever. I mean, it's their decision, and I'm not, whatever, I don't care, you know, it doesn't bother me, but it just seems weird. But I think a lot of people are on the fence about Guild Wars 3 because that is such an important part of the game for them, specifically the Guild Wars community, who are all about fashion, right? Guild Wars 2 is such a game that's focused on fashion as the end game. It'll be very important to know what characters we're going to be dressing up, right? And maybe seeing pictures and images of these characters in armor, in different armors, in, you know, with weapons equipped, like that kind of stuff. No, the warrior didn't die. I just wasn't really. The thing is, I wanted to start again because I wanted to. It was too easy. And so I was like, I want this to be an actual challenge. So I stopped it because what I was doing with the warrior is I was changing weapons. So I went back on my rule of being able to use anything that I find. I can only wear armor that I find, but weapon, I'm still going to be using the starter weapon. So I wanted to redo it. And then this time I was like, let's do a thief because why not? Because Thief has interesting skills, and I think we can utilize that to our advantage. Embraces classes content loop. This is how we're going with. Oh yeah, I know, and I talked a little bit about, you know, we have to think about the future of it too, because I think that was one mistake that they did with Guild Wars 2, was they didn't talk about the future of Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 released without us having any idea of what was going to be the future. We didn't know, are we going to get expansions? What, like, we got, you know, it was released with the Halloween release, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. So, you know, or like, not with the Halloween, but I mean like shortly after release was Halloween, and then we got Winter's Day right after. So for a long time, people were kind of content because it was a new game, but they hadn't laid out any future plans, and it felt like they didn't really know what they wanted to do with it either. So that's when they were like, oh, let's not do expansions, let's just do this living world thing, right? And change the world, you know, and take this idea. But I think they have learned that lesson, and I think ArenaNet is much more knowledgeable about these issues now, that they can really say, okay, well, we're not making that same mistake. We're going to be talking about what happens in the future, right? So then the idea is like, okay, are we going to see expansions? Are we going to see living world? Are we going to see mini expansions? Are we going to see, like, what are we going to see? What's the style of the release cadence and the whatever, right? I think another thing is that they're probably, I love all these like floaty little things. We see those a lot, but there are a lot more here, which is really cool. I never noticed that. But I think it's important for them to think about that now and let people know about it now, because a lot of people have been hurt by that, like the constant changing of the cadence, and I think the game overall has been hurt by that, right? The constant changing of the cadence, because they can't figure out what they want to do, right? They can't figure out, do we want to do this or do we want to do that, and then is this a good idea, is that a good idea? And they constantly changed it every 2 years. They came up with something new. They wanted to reinvent the wheel, right? And I think Arena had to realize that that maybe isn't such a great idea, and it's time for them to settle on a very, like, this is what we want to do, this is what we're gonna do kind of thing, right? So I think you know, I feel like that's we're gonna find out before anything else. Yeah, I you know, it's gonna be interesting to see. I talked early on in the stream. I talked about the or you know, I mean, it's only been like 48 minutes, but you know, earlier I talked about, in the video, Bobby Stein talked about specifically that there were like people that wanted to misuse the magic, and that were, you know, that wanted to use it for evil. I feel like it's going to be one of those plots that maybe we're going to be dealing with. Like I said, I still retain the idea that we're going to be dealing with the tribal situation. I think a lot of the humans are still in tribes and stuff, and then I think past that point it's gonna be maybe these tribes are at war, and you know, we're like the police, like the guilds are like the police, and specifically the Order of the Veil is like the police, and there's all these different conflicts happening between these different tribes, and that's where the like being tired comes from that Bobby Stein talked about. So I think it's going to be something like that, where we're dealing with these tribes that are just very evil and they want to do evil things and whatever. But yeah, I also said that we could be seeing something like the, you know, for the expansions, because they said, you know, they wanted to explore areas that we have only heard about, and I think it's safe to say, I don't know, you know, I'm just gonna go out and say this, you know, you guys can quote me, but I think it's safe to assume that the first few patches of release will be like, we're gonna get this in the core game, and then it's going to spread out to the Scavenger's Causeway, right? Because in Guild Wars 1, this is not just like a small little bridge. This is like a whole area of solid, you know, this is because ore never sank to the bottom of the ocean, so it's fully attached to the thing here. And I think we're going to see the Scavenger's Causeway as like the first part of the expansion. Maybe see some of the Crystal Sea out here, you know, something like that. So definitely excited. It's going to be more story driven for sure, which is why I like playing games that basically almost fully solo on Guild Wars 2, and it knows. Yeah, and I think so too. It'll be cool to have things like raiding. I hope that they will keep things like raiding and raid encounters in the game. Maybe not fractals, but maybe have dungeons. I would like for them to go back to dungeons. Having dungeons out in the world, I think, is one of those staples in MMOs that has always worked, and I always liked them. You know what I mean? And so I would like for them to do that again. Have actual dungeons in the open world that you visit as you level up, and then have end game raiding and you know, raid encounters and things like that. I hope that they have that. World versus World, I'm gonna be honest, I like World versus World a lot, but I honestly don't think that, I don't want that in my game. Do I want PvP? I think PvP is fine. I think if they just add like a basic PvP thing in there, maybe let us actually duel this time around as well, which has been a feature that's been requested for a long time. I think that would be really that would be nice, I think. But I don't know about World vs. World. I don't think I would want that. Yeah, I don't know. I think PvP is very important. A lot of people like PvP. I think it's, again, a big staple of the MMO space is to have PvP in games. And I think there is enough love at ArenaNet for PvP as well. I think it just doesn't translate really well into Guild Wars 2. So we'll have to see. But yeah, World vs. World, I would like for them to not have it. You know, I just, as much as I love that game mode, and I really do, and I'm gonna be going back into it when they do the new Borderlands. I'm gonna be very excited. I'm gonna be playing the heck out of that, and I do want to go back into it at some point, into World vs. World, and finish up my ring and stuff in there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want that in Guild Wars 3. I think that is kind of a waste of resources. I'd rather have them flesh out the open world a little bit more. And it probably, the way the game works even, I mean, from the way that they describe it, it feels like it wouldn't really work having a large scale. I think there'd be too much going on having a large scale, like, people versus people kind of thing. I think there'd be too much going on, and I think it would be a little too chaotic, which, you know, World vs. World can be already, but I think Guild Wars 2 is a little bit more grounded in the way that movement works, because you're still kind of stuck to the ground, but they really want to emphasize like the wall climbing and stuff. Like, imagine you're in World vs. World and all of a sudden people can like climb up the walls and stuff like that. Now it just kind of, there's a lot of issues that I see with that, you know. And this world in Guild Wars just seems more open for it, since we're in a guild. Earn belts of the tokens when you win duels in open world, and you can spend them on gear. I mean, I'm sure they'll have something like that, right? Like, that's any basic PvP system, right? It's like you earn some kind of token or reward, and you can spend it on your character. I'm gonna carry over a version of the vault dailies, weeklies, because people love that. Oh, for sure, 100%. It's something that worked really well in Guild Wars 1, and or Guild Wars 2, and they're gonna keep that for sure. That's the Guild Wars 3 will have achievements just like Guild Wars 2, which, again, I kind of expected as well. I think that is to be expected for sure.
Nice to see you.
Which, you know, I'm happy with. I mean, this is all like great stuff. Like I said, I think they're gonna cherry pick all the best things of Guild Wars. Guild Wars 1. Oh, this is the one that says everybody stop shouting. If you are still standing, you need more Dwarven Ale. Yeah, so I actually translated that. That was part of the first translation thing. All of these things I've translated already.
Welcome.
Steam achievements, that would be really nice. I think a lot of people would love that. Specifically people that are all about get it. Because I weirdly enough, in more recent times, I've seen people really, there's like a set group of people that are just so all about getting like 100% Steam achievements in the games they play. It's so weird. Like, I recently came across seeing like a bunch of people like that, specifically because of a game that I was playing that kept getting updated and then had new achievements added to it, and then people were like, oh my god, I gotta go back into it now and get all the achievements. And I'm like, what? Okay. And then I saw 1 post, 2 posts, 3 posts about that, and I was like, okay, clearly that's like a thing that people do. I don't know. So achievements killed my gaming. Why did they kill your gaming? Friends said Guild Wars 2 would never add Steam achievements. They're not going to add that. They're just happy that Guild Wars 2 is on Steam. They're not going to worry about achievements on there. And I don't or can't stop playing the game if you don't get all of the 100%. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I get where the mentality is, but if it's to the point where it stops you from enjoying the game, and if it stops you from enjoying what you're doing, then that's almost like there's something, you know, you need to see someone about that. You know what I mean? Like that's a little bit, because, you know, you shouldn't let games, you know, affect you like that. Because, you know, in a negative way, right? You shouldn't let games affect you in a negative way, and if they do, then there's something wrong with that, you know?
Time to blaze a trail.
Alright, I just wanted to get this. I'm not actually going to fight that guy. I've only 100% on my Steam when it comes to achievements. I think I have like one game on my Steam list where I just accidentally happened to get all of the achievements in. But yeah, no, I don't look at that. Like, I do look at it and I'm like, oh, look, I got a lot of achievements in this game. And then sometimes I'll find myself looking at them and being like, oh wow, okay, look at these achievements, or you know, I'll look through like a game's achievements just because I just happen to like look at that type of stuff and being like, oh wow, I could get this achievement. That's not really hard to do, right? Where they're just like, oh, you need to finish this level with like 100% health or whatever, right? And it's like, oh, I can do that, right? That's not hard. I can do that, you know? And I'll go in and I'll challenge myself, and if I run into stuff that's like really hard to do, then, you know, I'm just like, whatever, and I just move on with my life, you know? It doesn't affect me at all. Like when it comes to something like achievements and stuff, I don't have a need to complete those 100%. I do not. Thank God I don't, because I couldn't live like that, honestly. Because I have entirely too many games and I play entirely too many games. You guys only see a portion of the games that I play, but even then, you guys see a lot of the different games that I play. I mean, how many playthroughs have I done in the last year, right? From like Rayman to all the Spyro games, which we actually did 100% those, including the skill points, which I don't usually do, but I did do that for Spyro. I did Rayman. I did, wasn't Child of Light a recent one as well? Wasn't that like last year we did that? It feels like 700 years ago. I don't know. There's so many different games. If I go through all of the games that I've played on the channel, like there's so many of them, right? On top of the games that I play in my time off, like I recently played through Lies of P, for example. You guys, I didn't talk about this. I didn't mention this to anyone. Yeah, I played through Lies of P. Like, you know, I played Power Fantasy was another one that I played recently. That it's not like a, you know, it's not like a story-driven game or anything like that. I'm currently playing through Lords of the Fallen. Like, there's a lot of games. If I were to sit there and try to 100% them and get every like achievement on it, oh my god, I think I would go crazy. Baldur's Gate Enhanced, Trials of Mana, and Legend of Grimrock. Spyro Reignited. So if I only got 2 games on 3 games, I only 2 games on 3 games on 100% prototype 2. Spyro and Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Nice. That sounds, some of those sound like, I mean, Lord of the Rings Return to Moria sounds like that would probably take a lot of effort to 100%. So, but yeah, I'm not one of those people, man. I just, you know, collectathon games, you know, maybe those, I feel like maybe 100%ing, but I've never been one of those that finishes like a Mario game and says, okay, I gotta go and get all of the like red coins in it, right? Like I've done that maybe with Yoshi's Island. I think Yoshi's Island I've like 100%ed in that sense. The bonus levels are so savage. I don't think I've ever beaten those, but yeah, I think that I don't know. I really think that I'm just not that type of person. That I don't 100% games like that. So, But it'll be nice to have Steam achievements because people like that stuff. I thought maybe we could translate that, but I don't think that's translatable. It's very surprising that there's nothing in Beetleton that's to be translated. It's all the same paper. Like there's no, I mean, you have the posted messages and stuff, which I think they can be translated. It's really hard to read them, but they're definitely in New Crichton. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I have so many games on the list that I want to play with you guys. The next game that I want to do on my second channel, oh, I'm so excited for that, honestly. But now with like, I haven't had time to even move over more episodes and work on that. It's just like, oh my God, I don't have any time, but I do want to put time into it, moving more episodes over so I can start those playthroughs at some point in the next few months. I mean, I don't know. We still have a year and a half before Guild Wars 3 comes out. So, and you know, we still have quite like Guild Wars 1 isn't going to be something that I'm going to have to cover, or Guild Wars 2 is not going to be something I'm going to have to cover every day. And Guild Wars 1 they just started on new content recently, so we're probably not going to see anything for the next few months on that. So right now is the time to do it. There's some more side stories or content that teases hints. Yeah, I don't know. Again, it kind of depends on how they will do all of the how they will do the content releases and stuff. I did not know you could do that. I was like, I'm gonna try to sit on his head. I love how you got like pooped on by a bird, by a lot of birds.
What are you saying? Just that he's very generous to give you a job. You know I outrank you. Technically, sure. But the head chef would be lost without me.
Yeah, Legacy of Kain, Spyro, Crash, and Dead Space. Nice. Our best remasters in history. I mean, that's, you know, I don't know. I feel like that's a personal opinion. Spyro Reignited certainly had its faults. You can watch my playthrough of that if you want to see some actual evidence.
Can I help you?
You're jumping. I literally, it was weird because immediately when I was walking around the statue, I was like, this is so weirdly laid out. Like that's where my head was as I was talking. I was like, well, this is a weird laid out. Like, you know, there's one dog laying down, one that's sitting down, and one that's standing, and then it kind of leads to his arm, and I was like, huh, I wonder if you could just like go up, and so like without even really thinking about it, I was just like, let's try this out, and yeah, I can probably, yeah, and there it is, I can replicate it. So really strange.
They'll be paralyzed by my beauty.
I'll kill them before they get the chance.
Was the graphics, gameplay, and stories top notch? Remaster fixed it. I've heard so much about it, but it's one of those things that when I was younger, I never heard about those games ever. I never heard about those games.
Is that so?
So it's one of those things that I have kind of a like that's like missing in my
I should speak to the minister.
In my like gaming thing, like gaming history or whatever. Hold on, I need to put this in here. The same engine as Tomb Raider, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm playing through Lords of the Fallen right now, which is I'm having a really good time with that. That's super fun.
With magic, anything
But
is
yeah, you guys
possible.
know I love the Souls-like games, you know. Those are I'm a big fan of those, which I never thought I would be a fan of, and I still can't play Dark Souls 1 and 2 because I think they're just so janky and so annoying. Like, ugh, God, I hate them.
Right up,
Um,
carnival goers. Test
but
your
yeah.
strength against me. You think I'm too old to kick your tail? Don't judge a drake by its snout.
Oh,
Think
you
you're
interrupted
taking
me.
home a prize.
Such a frustrating character to fight because he interrupts and he stuns and he knocks down. Like, look at this. Look at that. Dude, what? Bam. Ow.
Greetings.
Can't keep my eyes over your character's butt. It's very shiny. It's very out there. And you can see, like, the butt crack in this outfit, too.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. I still love that so much, the little syrup puppet.
I can spend hours looking at
I'm stunned. I'm seeing new animations.
Make me look fat.
Really? Those are the regular like skills that he's always had. He always uses those. He's so frustrating to fight because he stuns and dazes and knocks you down. It's just like, oh my god, please stop.
Did you need something?
Like, he's always done that since the start of Guild Wars. But yeah, he uses the regular those are the regular like most of those animations are the regular warrior maze animations. All right, so we're already level 15, so we're gonna have to go to the new map. So I'm gonna walk there now. Always obliterated him so fast. I remember back in the day, I died to him quite a few times. I remember, you know, obviously like, you know, 14 years ago or whatever. But yeah, I died to him a lot for sure.
I'll never forget that performance.
Do I want to know?
Summertime for Boca. Absolutely delicious.
All right, I'm kind of breaking my own rule a little bit here of being in level appropriate zones. But I'm not fighting anything, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm supposed to be at level 15. I'm supposed to be in the next area already, and I'm not. But that's fine. Again, this is just a trial. I don't know if I'm serious about using a thief. We're gonna have to see how squishy that gets at the end. Because if that towards like level, you know, somewhere around 30 to 50 gets like really squishy, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually complete this with a thief.
Interesting.
But I think I might want to stick with a warrior, but we'll have to see. My memory of this game from that long ago is foggy. I have some vivid ass memories. I have some memories of being in ore and completely avoiding ore because I got my ass handed to me. Mind you, I was in blues and greens of random stats. I had the most random stats, right? This is a Raleigh in 2012. You know, I get to level 80, I play through the story, or I want to play through the story, right? And it's taking me a long time because I just keep dying and dying and dying, like over and over and over again. And I'm in blues and greens. I'm getting my ass kicked by the Ryzen because they keep knocking me down. Can anyone guess, or I've talked about it before, but can anyone guess what class I was playing? I've talked about it. It was not my very first character ever created. It was actually my second character ever created. My first character that I created during Head Start, I don't have anymore. The first character that I ever created was a Sylvari Thief, and I deleted him after the 3-day Head Start because I didn't like Thief at the time, and I really wanted to go with this other character. So I kind of wasted my Head Start, I guess you could say. I deleted my character. So I actually made a character on the day of release, even though I was playing in the Head Start. I had screenshots of memories, but I had to completely get a new PC like 3 times. Yeah, I know. I lost a lot of my old ones too. I found a batch of old screenshots from a couple years ago, but nothing from like way back when. There might be some on this PC. I might have some on that other PC that I have next to me, but again, that was like the third PC I was on after. I don't think I have anything from the early days. Necro and Mesmer. I made Necro in 2013 just because of how cool Lich Form was. Oh yeah, I remember those times. Lich Form was really good. But yeah, my very first character is actually I was just playing him the other day. He's the Elementalist that I have, that Fire Elementalist that I have, that I play all the time. That was my first character. Lich Form is freaking good now. Well, that's the thing, I haven't used Lich Form in a long time. I know they updated it, but so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I played. I remember, well, he was a she back then. I remember she was a elementalist, a blonde elementalist that I had, that I walked around the world with. And I went through the story with her, and I remember being in Ore, getting my ass kicked over and over again. Finally finishing the story, I got really emotional with it because it took me like 2-3 months to get through it, just because of how tough it was. Right? I was like, oh my god, Ore is really tough, you know. Not realizing that, you know, blues and greens is like, you know, that there is way better equipment out there. And yeah, I was walking around in blues and greens, and then doing map completion. Oh my god, because I wanted to do map completion on that character. That was, you know, that because I didn't want to do dungeons, I didn't want to do group content, because I was still in that phase of I didn't want to talk to people online like that. I was still like really awkward with people. And I was like, oh man, you know, I'm not going to do dungeons because that means I have to like group up with people, and I had like issues with that, you know. I still had like social anxiety, and you know, I was just like, I don't really want to do that. And so I decided, I was like, okay, my goal is to do map completion. That was, what a disaster. I cannot even tell you. That was so rough. I remember like it took me like months to get map completion. And so I finally got map completion, and that's around the time that got done is when fractals came out. And I was slowly getting a grasp on builds, actually. And I was understanding like armor pieces, and so I was doing dungeons at the time, and you know, with fractals you were able to get like good armor sets and stuff. Like everything was level 80, so I'd be actually getting like armor that was better for me. And so I started actually getting a build, and I remember I got really good with her. And I remember I have this really vivid memory of being in the Cliffside Fractal and playing through the Cliffside Fractal, and just, oh my god, just like in this Cliffside Fractal, sit there and feeling really powerful. I was playing a scepter. It was a scepter focus element. She had a scepter focus. I had like a really cool outfit. It was actually the starting armor that I had on her that I had like, I guess like transmutated onto her clothing. And I felt so powerful. And I think the reason why that memory sticks to me is because I think one of the characters in the group said like, oh my God, you're so good at this. And it was like the first time that I really felt like, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm kind of a veteran now. You know, it's like 6 months into the game or whatever, right? I remember that. So the improvements they made in previous patches, especially in Reaper, Massive Bleed, was being tough back then. I remember DCing me a lot, so I had to repeat it all over again, even as far back as when Rev was new to the game. They finally fixed that. Better internet. Yeah, that's true. I do remember there were some issues like that too. I remember there was a lot more rubber banding back in the day, which was weird because I remember a lot of rubber banding from Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 had some really, like, that is one of the things that Guild Wars 1 was known for, was like the rubber banding, and I had a lot of that happen to me. But now, you know, with faster PCs and better internet and stuff like that is a thing of the past. So, but yeah, that you know, those memories. So I remember like really getting into fractals and really being like, oh, and that's when I started getting into things like making all the new characters, because that's when my era started. Specifically during season 1 is when it started, and it didn't end until around Path of Fire. Okay, so for many years I had this incessant need to keep starting new characters over and over and over and over again, leveling them to 80 and then killing them, like deleting them and restarting and making a new character over and over and over again. It was really crazy. God, these guys do so much damage.
Controlling me. I can't help. Please help. He's controlling
I'm trying to. Whoa, what was that? Oh, hello. Engineer explosions. Yeah, my nigga was female Slavari and my mesmer was female human. Those were my mains. I remember the one that I was doing the betas. I was playing a I kept for all the betas that they had, I kept recreating the same character, which was a female human mesmer, because that's what I was playing at the time in Guild Wars 1. I was playing a female mesmer in Guild Wars 1 at the time, so I was like, oh, I want to keep that. I want to keep playing that. I want to recreate her, and then for whatever reason I didn't do that. I don't know. I think I ended up making a mesmer, but back then the leveling experience for mesmer was really, really tough, and I was not good enough at the game, and like I didn't understand that dodging was like super important and stuff, so I was like face tanking a lot of things, and I was like, mesmer is too tough, because mesmer doesn't actually get good. Like if you do a core mesmer doesn't get good until like you have all three trade lines available to you, because there's just mesmer relies a lot on synergy like that, and so you can't create synergy with it, and it's very lacking in that regard as you level up. So it's definitely the toughest class, I think, to level up. It becomes later on, it becomes one of the most powerful ones, but I think the leveling experience, it's kind of rough for mesmers. But yeah, that was my character doing beta. Well, so that's why I kind of talk about, like, when we talk about Guild Wars 3 and we talk about those, like, you know, the combat and stuff, that's why I want to have the freedom of not having to create new characters all the time, because I don't want to get back into that. You know, I really want to be able to have one main character. Like, yes, I'm going to do other characters. I'm going to create other characters. But I want to have one main character that can play all of the different classes, right? That can freely change the classes. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Killing him didn't revive me, which is very interesting.
Their accomplishments in death
Whew,
far
that was
exceeded
close.
those in life.
Almost died. Thank God for new players. I love how, like, these characters, they're level 80, okay, and they're completely decked out in all this, like, gear, and they have all this, like, look at, you know, this guy's, like, clearly, like, he's been playing a lot, right? He comes in and he does, like, world map completion. You know, it's so weird to me. I find that so funny. Like, there's no other reason for him to be coming in here, right? Like, why else would he be doing that? I mean, maybe he's trying to unlock, like, another elite specialization or something, but why would he not go to the expansion maps to get like 10 points instead of 1 out of hero challenges? So now with spear and dagger, leveling experience for Mesmer is amazing. Oh, that's true. Yeah, dagger is really good for long range and spear is a really good melee weapon. So that's very true. Yeah, Draethor is really... I don't know why I thought I could just go in there and just attack Draethor. It's a terrible idea. Especially on a thief. And I keep forgetting that I can use this too. It doesn't heal for a lot, but that is a good emergency heal for sure. Yeah, I'm really curious to see, oh God, because I was just thinking about that, you know, because one thing that turned me off, and I will say this, and that's always turned me off, and it's always something that's bugged me. I've learned to accept it, and I'm okay with it now, but it's still something is that I would fundamentally change about Guild Wars 2, is the idea that your weapon skills are tied to your skills are tied to your weapon that you're wielding, right? Which I remember when Guild Wars 2 came out was a huge thing that they advertised. They were like, oh yeah, you can, you know, you don't just get like a set of skills. You get different skills depending on which weapon you wield. And it was like one of those things that they really advertised. I'm not getting any armor either. Like that's a big problem as well. I still have the starter chest, and so I'm kind of feeling really weak here. I'm not getting good drops. It's kind of sad, but... Tridents on land? Oh, I want that in Guild Wars 2. Why can't I have that in Guild Wars 2? I don't care about Guild Wars 3. Guild Wars 3 is a new thing. Like, we don't need that there yet, you know? I mean, I would like to see that in Guild Wars 3, but, like, if I really get to pick, I would like to have that in Guild Wars 2, please. Please let me have that in Guild Wars 2. And you know, it's so interesting that a lot of us, you know, we're talking about Guild Wars 2 and we're talking about, you know, Guild Wars 3, of course, a lot, and people are very excited about it. But no one's talking about Guild Wars 1. Like, no one's talking about Guild Wars Reforged. No one's talking about, you know, new content that they want to do, right? Like, that's so cool. Like, what are they going to do in Guild Wars 1? Like, what updates are we going to see in Guild Wars Reforged that, you know, are they going to do an expansion? Are they going to do, you know, like a mini expansion or something? That's another thing that I'm very excited about. Like, going back into Guild Wars 1 and seeing, like, new content drops there, new heroes to unlock, and maybe new skills, you know. I don't know, like, it'll be really cool to see. I don't know. I don't think we'll get to see a new class, but I think they'll be adding some new skills into the game. I think that's going to be part of it. I hope the weapons in Guild Wars 3 are more free-flowing and isn't tied to the classes. Yeah, I 100%. I hope that they don't do that. I think that is one of the worst parts of this combat system. Reforged new content, whatever it is. Forgot to tell you, just when you did the first part of the new dungeon to get Devona. Oh, did you? Nice. Oh, that's exciting. That's awesome. I haven't next part yet. Was a little scary souling it, but I did it. Nice. Well, that's great. I love it. That's awesome. I mean, going in after that is technically supposed to be a group content, so I can't solo it. I'm at level 15 and I'm having issues. I can't solo it. I've tried. But yeah, I don't know. I love it. I'm excited to see what they have for Guild Wars 1 cooked up, you know? I don't know. I don't know what they want to do. I think we're going to see more dungeons and stuff. I think why a lot of people are a little underwhelmed is because most of the reforged updates have been focused on specifically pre-searing, and I think that's a very, not necessarily niche, but it's a very specific type of Guild Wars 1 player. And I think it was smart of them to do that, to focus on specifically those players, because those are the players that have stuck around playing Guild Wars 1 for the last 20 years. Are the people that are hanging out in pre-searing and stuff. So it was good to target them with something like that at first. But then now that they're opening up to like mobile and new people jumping in and playing the game, they're going to have to look at like other areas of the world, right? Like I still think one of the things that's definitely on the table is getting a Guild Wars Nightfall Beyond, right? Like getting a Nightfall Beyond is definitely on the table, I think. And something we'll probably see as one of the I mean, that's what I would like to see. I think, you know, before when they announced Reforged, I was very like, you know, tempered in my expectations, and I was very like, well, you know, we might see some stuff here or there. But now that they're going full mobile and saying that they have a team dedicated specifically to Guild Wars 1 and wanting to do more Guild Wars 1 content, I 100% could see an expansion or things like Guild Wars Beyond come out, you know? I'm on a horrible monk ranger, but I just love monk armor. Wouldn't be surprised if Utopia is on the table now, especially Guild Wars on the horizon. Yeah, I still don't. I know that you're trying to make the connection happen there. I love how there's like a random fire in this tent. Between like Guild Wars Utopia and Guild Wars 3, I don't really see that. I mean, I you know, I get it with like, you know, they talked about like we'll see more about the gods and Utopia and Joteca being like this island floating in the mists or something like that. But I don't know. One thing that I really feel like ArenaNet is not wanting to touch with Guild Wars 3, and because the problem, and I see an issue arise, and I think that's what ArenaNet is doing too. See that, but that Utopia could connect to Guild Wars 2 if they did it right. I don't. Especially with Guild Wars 3 on the horizon, and Utopia could connect. I mean, Utopia could connect to Guild Wars 2, but I'm saying like, I don't know what Utopia has to do with Guild Wars 3. Like, you know, because I feel like, because you're saying especially with Guild Wars 3 on the horizon. I don't know, but yeah, I think something like Guild Wars 3. I think one thing Guild Wars 3 is not going to do is touch the mists. I think we might hear some stuff about that. I think they're going to do more what Guild Wars 1 did, where we hear more about the mists, but we don't interact with the mists. Because I think the problem, and I think ArenaNet realizes this as well, that they create, if they talk about if they talk about the mists, they open up the possibility of these world-ending threats, right? Because that's always what the mists are associated with, is this like oh, it's reality and anything can happen in the mists and blah, 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 blah. And I think they're trying to keep it more grounded, right? They set that themselves. They want to keep it more grounded. So I don't think we're going to see anything to deal with them. I just mean they want a support franchise and thanks to Guild Wars 3. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Utopia could be on the menu. I don't know if they want to do that because they reuse. You got to also remember they reused a lot of the assets and a lot of the ideas from Utopia and put that into Eye of the North and Guild Wars 2. And so they would have to come up with a brand new Utopia that probably wouldn't see the same concepts of what we have seen. I could see the setting kind of be the same. Maybe have an island in the mists that is Mesoamerican inspired. Maybe, you know, whatever region we're going to, have it be like Mesoamerican inspired. I think that's something that would be really interesting. I can't finish this heart. There's like nothing to do here. This is really stupid. But other than that, I don't know. You know, Chronomancer already exists in Guild Wars 2. They took the Asura, which, you know, we recently talked about in a short. I talked about the, you know, Asura being a cave-dwelling goblin-like race. They took that, you know, away and did, you know, their whole thing with that in Guild Wars Eye of the North and Guild Wars 2. They took things like assets that they had for Utopia that they put in like random dungeons. I've talked about that before. Like there's those faces that you see inside of the some of the dungeons in Eye of the North that were used there. The Asuran architecture was seriously like 100% based on Utopia. So a lot of the ideas already exist in Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. So they would have to come up with like a new version of that, right? Joteka, I mean, maybe, yeah, they could do something like that, right? It wouldn't have to be Utopia, but if they wanted to do something like that, I don't know. I feel like with Guild Wars, I feel like they could do something better with connecting to Guild Wars 2. Now that Guild Wars 2 has such a deep and established lore and understanding, I could see some expansions maybe actually deal with maybe some of the other Elder Dragons, like showing those, right? Like we fought the Great Destroyer in Eye of the North and put Primordus back to sleep, but what about going deeper? Like in Guild Wars 1, you know, we go to the Maguma jungle or whatever, right? But like we could have something where we actually go further out, you know, into the jungle or something and deal with Mordramoth there or something and put Mordramoth back to sleep or something like that. Like dealing with like these rotting destroyers out in the Maguma jungle or something, you know what I mean? And going out to that region or something. Could rename the Chronomancers to something else. I mean, yeah, but then what's the point? You know, I don't know. I guess they could rename that, but I would want them to just do something new. You know, I think after 20 years, like reusing some of those old concepts that they had back then, I would just want them, you know, if they do some kind of like construct human whatever that's like Raza kind of thing, I wouldn't be against it, but I don't know. Well, it wouldn't have to be like a dragon fight. I mean, in Guild Wars Reforged, we fight the Great Destroyer, and with that, keep Primordus, because Primordus was close to awakening, but because of that, we put him back to sleep for another like 50 years or something like that, right? So it could be something like that, where we fight a champion of Mordramoth, right? We could fight, for example, like the, you know, we have the mind of Mordramoth. When we go into the mind, we fight that avatar of Mordramoth that's like this walking, you know, hunk of like plantiness or whatever, right? We could fight a version of that in Guild Wars Reforged as the final boss to keep Mordramoth from sleeping or from waking up, I'm sorry, keeping him asleep or something like that, right? They could tackle something like that. Or maybe even have it, for example, have it like Kralkatorrik, right? In Guild Wars Reforged, in Guild Wars 1, we see Kralkatorrik, but we never deal with him, right? We never do anything with it. So it'd be really cool to have an expansion in Guild Wars, in Guild Wars 1 that deals with us going further north, and maybe finding, because we know that the Coden came from the frozen north, like everyone came down because of Primordus, right? Maybe have Primordus, like we see Primordus in like the frozen ice, like we see Drakkar, right? We don't deal with Drakkar, but he's there, and we have then the Norn Bear, Svanir, right, that we deal with, right? Kind of have these stories that lean on the idea of the elder dragons existing in the world and solidifying them even more in the setting of the world, but have it be something that isn't directly us fighting the dragons themselves. You know what I mean? We fight in its mind as the same model as the Saitian mouth, just without the gaping mouth. Yeah, it's the same model. You can tell by watching these animations. Yeah, it's definitely the same model that they reused there. They just put a different head on him. But yeah, it would be really cool to just have these be out in the world and actually have us see them. You know what I mean? Or maybe, I don't know, they could expand it in different ways. They could add completely new things into the world, you know, that we don't know anything about too. I mean, that would be really cool. Because that's the cool part about having Guild Wars 3 take place so many years before, and having Guild Wars 2 take place so many years after, and having Guild Wars 2 also, like, not only is Guild Wars 2 happening so many years after, but it's also so many things happened because of the Elder Dragons, right? The Elder Dragons awaken and completely changed the world, right? And that was the whole idea of going from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2. They wanted to create a new world, and so how do you change the world that's set in the same space? Well, it's you have these world-ending creatures, these forces of nature, as they called them, kind of reshape the landscape and stuff like that, you know? And so, you know, we could see a lot of that kind of stuff too. We could see something like the establishment of Ebonhawk, for example. We could get, because when you go to Ascalon, right? When you go to you know, the Ebonhawk is right here. You know, if you go to Ebonhawk in Guild Wars 1, like, you can't actually get there. I mapped it out one day. I went to Ascalon, and like you get to, like, I think the most southern part that you can go to is like right around here somewhere. It's like just north. You can't actually get, like, it's like blocked off like that, so you can't actually get to where Ebonhawk would be, and there's nothing there, right? It's like an empty, destroyed field that you see, right? But they could tackle this. I'd say, well, we're going to do another Ascalon map here, right? We're going to update that, and we're going to have you know, and you can go in there, and you can, you know, they will continue the story of Gwen Thackeray or something, and you know, show the establishment of Ebonhawk in that way, right? I wanted to hurry and be over with so I can start seeing what it looks like to explore Guild Wars 2 and fight. But I'm also excited for all the Hall of Monuments coming throughout 2027. There's a lot of... The cool part is that we have a lot of things coming for Guild Wars, which is so exciting. I think this is the first time that we've had not just multiple projects, I mean, that's the first time for sure, but also like those same projects all getting something new, right? Like we've had multiple projects where it's like, oh yeah, we have, you know, an expansion coming out for Guild Wars 2, you know, and we have like an anniversary for Guild Wars 1, and you know, they added some skills in Guild Wars 1, right? Like that's the closest we've ever gotten to having multiple releases over multiple games. But we're at a stage in the franchise of Guild Wars, where we have all of these things happening. Like, we're in the middle of an expansion for Guild Wars 2 with another expansion having been semi-announced and we know the name of, like Mistbound, right? I still think that that's the next expansion that's coming out, dealing with the mists and stuff like that for Guild Wars 2. But on top of that, we have them going back and revising and fixing a lot of things in the core game and doing stuff like that on top of Hall of Monuments. That's going to be then for Guild Wars 3, which Guild Wars 3 is coming out, and we know that they're now working on new content for Guild Wars 1. Like, in the next couple of years, we're going to see so many new Guild Wars things just coming into the gaming space that is just, it's insane. Like, it's absolutely insane. I would have never in my life. We went from having a studio that 5-6 years ago almost closed down, losing over a fourth of their development and not knowing where the studio was headed, where they had no idea what the future was going to hold. They didn't know if they were going to have a job to go to, you know, tomorrow, like if the doors were going to be closed, to them now having these massive projects and these huge things that are like guaranteed to come out, you know, because I don't think they're going to be canceling. Like, at this point, I don't think Guild Wars 3 is going to be canceled. You know what I mean? Like, it is creating way too much hype. It is creating way too much money for them. There's no way that they're going to be stopping this at any time and at any point in time. The reason why all of these other other games and these other projects were canceled back then is because none of it was even announced, revealed. So there was no money coming in from these projects, and so they had to stop that, right? Like, NCSoft was like, yeah, no, this is not happening because you're working on all of this stuff, but you haven't revealed anything. And they probably didn't have enough substantial things to really say, well, hey, we want to, you know, advertise this and reveal this and stuff, you know? Went from a couple of weeks ago when not receiving future news on the next expansion to believe shit's in trouble to now being like, wow, yeah, yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? Like, it's so weird to think about, where we were like, does this mean Guild Wars 3 or Guild Wars 2 is done for because we have no news for what happened after? But that's because we go by trends, right? And we go by like what has been happening, and what has been happening not just with Guild Wars 2 and ArenaNet, has been that, you know, other studios have closed down, other games have closed down, right? New World and Destiny, right? Like, all of these huge things in gaming and in the MMO space are now things of the past. And so when we don't get news about Guild Wars 2 and we don't get news about what ArenaNet is up to and what's going to be happening in the future, of course a lot of people are like, oh my god, is this also the end for ArenaNet and for Guild Wars? Like, are we at the end? Like, this is it, right? Like, all of these other studios have been closing down, all these other games have been closing down, and they are, you know, they had already a moment where they almost closed down, you know, several years ago. Are we back to that, right? And so, you know, it's absolutely crazy. It's the complete opposite, where it's just like, no, they didn't announce anything because they have too much to talk about and they need to figure out the best way to approach this, which I will say I absolutely loved that they reiterate this. And this was something that a lot of people were worried about, and that I saw a sentiment that I saw online a lot was people were saying that they were going to quit Guild Wars 2 if a Guild Wars 3 gets announced, because what's the point of playing Guild Wars 2 if there's another game coming out? Okay, and I don't understand that sentiment. I will say I think that's a stupid sentiment, but I saw a lot of people say this online. And so it's really good that Colin is going in and saying, no, right now is the perfect time to play Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1, because that will, you know, you can see what we have been doing over the last 20 years, and you can see, you know, while you're waiting on this game to come out, you can be a part of our amazing community already, and you can be a part of the veteran players that are going to be jumping into Guild Wars 3, and you can experience some of these stories in these areas that we're going to be talking about, you know? So believe that on the wall, seeing it. See ya never, suckers. Yeah, I mean, good riddance. I wouldn't want people like that anyways, so. But anyways, have a good evening. I appreciate you went from, yeah, so have a good evening. Enjoy Critical Role. I forgot it's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's hot in here. What question? What was your question? I don't know. Maybe I'll address it. I don't know what question that is. Let me kill you.
Low on endurance.
Oh my god, when was this? I say Crystal Sea. I say Scavenger's Causeway. That's my bet. I think we're gonna get the core area of ore with the, and then we're gonna get an expansion that takes place here. That is my prediction. That is what I think is gonna happen. They're gonna expand further out, which is gonna be the area closest, the area that is closest to there. You know, which borders on the, I mean, it borders on the Crystal Desert. You know, if they give us this, or the Crystal Sea, I mean, and then they give us this an expansion, right? The Crystal Sea is right here. You know, the Crystal Sea is like right along here, right? This is like, the Desolation was a verdant coastline, as far as we know. So we know that this was probably more verdant as well and wasn't as deserty. So it's probably like, you know, the Crystal Sea is probably like this. And so if we get an expansion here, we're going to be bordering the Crystal Sea. And yeah, definitely, I think we're going to see that. Ooh, should I dare? I'm going to dare. Okay, I didn't get any credit for that. Love it. Risked my life for nothing. I'm not going into that cave. That cave is murder. Causeway would be South Sun 2.0. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I think it's a little bit more, not as tropical, I don't think. Or it doesn't look like a tropical place in the videos. So, or in the trailer and in the art that they have. So I think it's going to be a lot more. They're talking about high fantasy, so I think I'm expecting a little bit more of like giant mushrooms and like that kind of thing. You know, the over the top, you know, you have the magical arches and, you know, like fairies and whatever, right? Like wisps going around different forests and having, you know, more like the Caledon forest kind of thing, you know, that we have in Guild Wars 2, like more like giant plants like that, and that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm not getting any equipment. This is really, really sad. But yeah, Thief doesn't feel as as tanky as warrior. I can definitely tell. But it's also, again, I don't have armor. I got a lot of armor yesterday for my warrior. Oh, okay, this is super high level. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this area anyways. So let's go somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else. I mean, this outfit is shiny as hell. Like a fish. Let's go to where we were yesterday. That was a good area to be in. Oh, hello.
More to explore.
Do I need to do... I got all the things from this? I did get all the things from that. Okay. I didn't know if I needed to do more, if there's more things to get, but... Back me up. Ooh.
Bringing the pain.
Leave me alone. Why do you need to attack me? What's your damage? Oh, hello. I always forget that there's a commander in here by himself.
Not enough energy.
Okay, I definitely need to go more to this side of the map. Or, which side of the map was that? Yeah, I was on this side yesterday. And I liked being over there. Because underwater is kind of rough too, so I don't want to be near that. Okay, I can do this hard. It's level 19, but that's okay. Triskelion Vale. No water buckets. I need to find a water bucket. Water bucket? Water bucket? There we go. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Unreal Engine 5 too. Because, you know, Guild Wars 2, you know, they used a modified Guild Wars 1 engine. And so it's, I don't know, I feel like they were kind of limited on the things that they could do, but like having something with Unreal Engine 5, if they're really good with it, they could probably do some amazing things, right? Sickened villagers, let's do that. I love how like you can look in the window and there's just like rock inside this house.
Wow, that fish bin stinks.
It hasn't been cleaned in days, maybe weeks.
I'll get the kids to clean it today.
Love it. Random ass conversation. You get up. Is that a sickened villager? It is. Whee. See, you don't even have to go into the water, which is really nice. Ooh, bucket. Alright. Cleaning all the things. All right. You gotta clean out the garbage. The garbage. No. I'm not going in the water to save your friends. Sorry, not sorry. Oh my god, the progress is so slow. I wonder if they'll have something like Renown Hearts. I'm sure they'll have like repeatable daily tasks that you can do in and around the world, right? So is it gonna be the same as this? I wonder what currencies, like, are they gonna get rid of karma? Are they gonna, you know, have something like karma? I don't know. Okay. No more sick villagers, so I've saved everyone.
Kind of late to be fishing, isn't it? Caught anything yet?
Okay. I think there was supposed to be another person having that conversation.
Fish bin stinks.
It hasn't been cleaned in
Okay,
days.
we already heard that.
Weeks.
That was
I'll get the
weird.
kids to clean it.
Oh. Yeah, I can't wait for the voice work that they're going to be doing. There's going to be probably some really, really good voice actors in this game. Oh, so many fun things. But I wonder exactly, you know, when we think about ore and we think about the location, I wonder if we're going to see specific areas that we can see in Guild Wars 2. Like, I think about this a lot, and well, I mean, I think about this a lot in the last, you know, week that I've had to think about, but I think there's this idea as well of, you know, ArenaNet wants to kind of create, like, yes, they want Guild Wars 3 to be its own thing, but ArenaNet is one of those companies that loves their callbacks, and that loves to, you know, talk about some of these areas, not all of these areas, but, you know, they've done a lot of, you know, they created a whole class in Guild Wars 2 that's all about talking about Guild Wars 1 kind of thing. You know, so my question is, like, you know, I don't think we're going to see a whole class that's about Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars 1 or whatever, you know, since it's in the past as well, so it's kind of hard to do that anyways, but area specifically, you know, we've seen ore in Guild Wars 2, and we've seen, you know, we've heard stories and we've read missives about things in Guild Wars 2. Like, if we go to something like Aram, let me go to Aram. That's not it. I don't even know what that is. Let me get rid of that for a second. So if we go to Aram, I'll go on this character. This character is going to survive a lot better. But I want to kind of look at ore and explore that space. Let's do that in a second. I'll be right back, you guys.
as a human taking wagers on the pit fights.
Coin wagering? Ugh, there's no pride in that.
Speak for yourself. I'd fight for glory and take their money. I've plenty of uses.
The Emperor feared my great power. Do you?
Was that supposed to scare me?
All right, so let's explore ore a little bit. Let's go look at that for a little bit. Because I wonder if we can see. So we were kind of talking about that today too, in on Discord. But there's so many ring structures, right? And we see these. We see a lot of these. And then we have this area down here. That's part of the event chain, but there's a this is the blighted battleground. But I wonder if, you know, these floating rings, like we will actually have floating rings, and that all of these ring structures that we actually see are supposed to be like they crash down onto the surface of ore, right? There's that kind of question as well. The Vizier's Tower. What I do want to do... I want to pull up some of this art. I should really have a specific folder for this. I don't know why I'm so unorganized with my files. My files are a mess, you guys. Okay. Let me see. Let me do this a little bit here. Let me organize. So none of the art, one thing that I really was sad about was that there wasn't any new art. They reused the same art twice in the blog post. There wasn't anything new in there. That was kind of upsetting, I think. I already have this? See, that's what I'm saying. I need to get organized. Okay. So if I already have this, then let me take all the art that I have from it.
That conservatory over there, it undoubtedly holds untold secrets. We had better examine it more closely.
Why would you want to leave here? The fighting is so good, and there's so much of it.
That's a terrific attitude. What if I told
Terrific.
you there would be danger along
Love
the
it.
way?
Alright, anyways, sorry guys. I'm just organizing some stuff here.
Lead the way, Half-King.
I suppose I can come along. Someone has to keep you all from dashing into your deaths.
Excellent. Let us make our way along the path ahead. Keep your eyes
So,
open
I want to
for
look
whistles.
at some of
They're
these
everywhere.
things. Okay, so we have some of the art. We can kind of go through. That's the trailer. I have that there. I think that's the final. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I think that's the final thing. Okay, yeah, so that's all we have for art. Okay, so the thing is, in this art here, we can see some structures up there, right? And oh my god, what is going on in Guild Wars 2 now? Why do I need to listen to you guys? Sorry, I'm just gonna go. Really? What is this even? What is even happening there? I gotta go far enough away. But yeah, I want to look a little bit into this art a little bit more, right? Because here's the thing. So we see this structure back there, right? And that structure is clearly this. So the higher arch is on the right. So this image is taken from further away than this one is. This one is right in front of it. I have a feeling none of this is a raw. I think that this is like the promenade of the gods right on the bottom of Ra, right? And that Ra, because they talk about Ra floating above, and so I could see this being the promenade, and then this is actually a structure that we've seen in Guild Wars 2, if we're technical about it. So let's kind of look at that. If we're looking at a Ra, and we're looking from over here towards it, I don't know. I'm stretching, but, you know, whatever. Oh, you guys can't see it. Hold on. I'll show you guys in a second. So if we hide this and we go in, so let's kind of look at that a little bit, right? Because we have the arches, arch here, arch here.
Death. Good.
We have an arch going up here. That actually, does it actually connect? Does that arch up there connect? Oh, hold on. I gotta get higher up. That tower is probably the largest structure. I'm just thinking, like, is this the tower that we're seeing? One of these? Is this the tower that we see in the image or something? You know? One of these beacons? I'll have a better, I'll give you guys a better view, but I just want to figure out this this arch situation here. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh. Okay. Hold on. I want to see. Yeah, that arch actually connects. So where does it start? Right here? This arch goes all the way over? All the way over to this? Does this connect right here? So we have a giant arch that's right here. That's crazy. Look at that. Look at how high up that is. Like, I can barely even... I'm at the highest point with my sky scale. I can barely even see it. It's not even that. It's behind. It's behind here. The arch starts here and goes all the way. You can see it when you zoom out. You can see that arch going all the way. Can I get higher? Can't land. Oh, I landed. Can I land on here? I probably can. Somewhere? Let me land. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Come on, ArenaNet. Let me land. Come on. Damn it! Oh my god. Can I get on the arch? I can. Oh my god, it's solid. Oh, great. We're gonna get... Oh my god. We're gonna get so high, you guys. Look at this. Look, you can see the arch fully now. Look at that gigantic arch. Like, that one's not even, like, fully... How did that even survive? But yeah. I just wanted to look at that. But we do have... There is something interesting we can do. Hello? Okay, I don't know why that didn't work. Press the button like 17 billion times. We have these structures here, but I'm trying to think of like... Right, if we think about some of these structures maybe having been taller, right? I think the best vantage point is maybe like around here. Somewhere around here. Something like this. So if we stand right here, right, and we're looking at a raw off in the distance, but that wouldn't quite work. I'd have to be even further over here, really, realistically. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to recreate the concept art a little bit. You know, if we are looking at a big city here, which would be a raw, right? And we have the tower, the towers, right? So if we look at the picture again, and I gotta pull it up for myself. You know, we have water in front of us. And then a raw on the right with its rings, and on the left side is a tower with a town around it, right? So, I mean, that could be, you know, what we're looking at. Like, are we looking from this island that we're on right now? Because having the water right in front of us like that, and having a big city in the background, and they're highlighting that city, right? Like, they show this in multiple, they show this city in the far back in the... You know, there, and then we have that weird tower on the side there. But yeah, I don't know. Then we have this, which is kind of crazy to think that there's sheep up here. By the way, there's sheep. We haven't really seen sheep. We've seen like rams and stuff and things they called sheep, but it wasn't really. We have giant fruit here. I'm just trying to look at the environments and see if there's anything that jumps out. Oh, I have two of these? Oh, I do. I have that twice, that image. The structures here, again, we get these greenish roofs. But everything is so indistinguishable, really. Any features that we can see? Again, this is really crazy to me because they talk about the floating city of Ara. And this tapestry now feels very different in my eyes from hearing that, because having all of these things actually floating on rocks like that is very interesting. Because if I'm thinking, let's see what the we don't have sound, which is good. Trying to see if there's any specific details that we can make out in this. Oops, I didn't mean to. Why are there no controls now? There were controls earlier and then now they're not there anymore. Hold on. I'm gonna read. Oh. They're there. Oh, why can't you guys see it now? What is going on here? Hello? Anything in particular that we can make out? In this trailer that tells us maybe exactly where this takes place? Wait a minute. What was that? Did you guys see that? Wait, did I just find something? Hold on. Look up there. I think that's just a tree. It looks so distinguishable. Like, it looks like very specific, but I think it was like pareidolia, where I saw something that wasn't actually there. Saw like a face, but again, random
What has
mountain.
become of the Empire in my absence?
Emperor Usoku expelled all non-humans and closed Kentha's borders long ago. After ore rose, it was isolated further.
That's all we say. I love that. I just had to listen to that dialogue. I have a Slim Jim here, a mini one. I don't have a hard time opening it. There it is. Do we see any natural formations like that in ore? Arches like that? Arches that are natural like that. Okay, that's a weird... Does anyone else feel like that's a weird cut as well? So, watch this. After this scene, it goes to a black screen and then brings the tapestry back up. It feels like they purposefully cut something out of it.
Who holds dominion over all.
I mean, it works in the trailer with the voiceover and the music, but it feels kind of weird because all the other skips across the tapestry they do without. Here they do a black screen. they transition without a black screen, I think. See, they did transition without a black screen. So it feels like something was cut out of there. Yeah, it does fit with the music there.
At the great spirits to whom we are
See, but they just transition over without a black screen. Here they do a black screen.
Dominion over all.
So I don't know if that was done on purpose or not. I'm not sure. But I wonder if there's any... There's nothing in particular. It's weird because we see some of these arches. Do we see any in Guild Wars 2 that are natural arches like that? I want to find natural arches like that in Guild Wars 2. We have giant, you know, this is all like underwater. We have arches, ring structures. But oh, we have that. I mean, we have the giant one that's right above us. Oh, you can't even see it now properly because it's daytime now. But I wonder, are there any specific? This could also be the tower from the concept art as well. I just want to see if there are anything. I don't know if there's anything. Yeah, because those natural arches don't really occur anyway here. I mean, we're in Cursed Shore. Melandru. Winternell Isle. I'm definitely going to do a tour of Ore before Guild Wars 3 comes out. I did those videos before Cantha came out. We do have tall structures up there. We do have all these ring things, right? But there's a lot of random ring structures like that that doesn't look like they're supposed to be there, that feel like they fell from the sky. So I have a feeling that we're going to see floating rings. I mean, if Ara is really a floating city, we're definitely going to see that. My question is if the concept art shows us in the sky looking at Ara, or if we're on the ground looking at the location underneath Ara. So we see more arches here. I feel like the only time we'd see natural arches would be from here. So if the concept art, I don't think the Vizier's Tower is in that concept art. Because if the Vizier's Tower was in the concept art, that means that we would be looking from right around here somewhere onto Ore, onto whatever city is there, and then that wouldn't be Ara. But it feels like so highlighted of a city. Because the Vizier's Tower is right there. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't see any natural arches. So that is definitely new. That's why I'm thinking like we're seeing the Scavenger's Causeway more. Like we're seeing it from this perspective over here. I mean, we'll definitely have to look at what the new Ore map will look like. But natural arches don't occur here unless they're all destroyed, right? I mean, we have like, this is supposed to be a road. Like, this is the closest that we see to actual infrastructure like that, like public infrastructure, because it actually has a road here with like a sidewalk, and a door there. So this is like a road that they would have walked with their, you know, carriages or whatever, right? There's like a little thing and they go around there, and then there's a road that leads this way, and then there's another road that leads the other way, and you can see that perfectly on the map too. You can see that the road here, you know, leads all the way up here and then splits there and goes all the way around. And then you have this, and it goes here, goes all the way to the temple, and one goes further into the second map, and then you have the road here that kind of loops back around. So they had infrastructure like that. I wonder if we're going to see exact replicas of these roads. Like, are we going to find out who Zenarius Bait is, or Bait? I'm not sure, but that's a specific thing, right? A bait or a bite. It's Arabic. That primarily translates to house, dwelling, or home. So this is Zenarius's home. Whoever Zenarius is. Never heard of a person like that in lore. Was this his house? Was this where he lived? I mean, it's a pile of rubble now, but maybe this is where he lived. I want to go up here. I want to go to like Elysium Beach and stuff. I feel like we're gonna see some interesting things there. Oh yeah, so this was a road they had going all the way up here. Ooh, and then it had like a little statue in the middle where it split up. What was this place again? Oh, the Zaishan Athenium Nabi. What do you have? Runestone necklace. Ancient Orient urn, not rune. Okay.
The answer
I'm
is
preoccupied with excavating. Yeah, well, can I see some of these relics, please? Grent's graveyard. Nebria's catacombs. The silent inhabitants of the stone sarcophagi seem unwilling to succumb to the fact of their demise. Okay. Cammy, I want to talk to Cammy.
Greetings and salutations.
Excuse me. Okay, speak with Navi. I did. Navi had nothing interesting to say. What is in there? Can you actually go in there? Wait, have I ever been in here? Oh, there's like a door. Oh. I don't think I've ever been in here. We have a chaos beast. Oh, and there's... Oh, it actually loops around? Huh. I don't know if I ever knew that.
Strong.
So, anything else? Specifically here, I want to see if we're... I mean, these arches don't look natural. They just look like, I mean, this entire thing, but there's a big tower here. That's interesting. What is this place? Statue of Lissa. Itchy arm. Elysium Beach. What do you have to say? Though it has been decades since human worshippers left offerings at this colossal depiction of Lissa, twin goddess of beauty and illusion, her radiance is still captivates all who gaze upon it. Okay. So I wonder, it's a pretty tall, that building is huge. Never noticed that. Like I said, I don't know if we're looking at any specific. It would be really cool if we're looking at any specific building that they had in mind. And they were like, okay, this is in the trailer. And they just like didn't tell anyone, and they're just waiting for us to figure that out. That's how I would do a trailer. I would use some really obscure location that no one has talked about or seen or whatever, and just be like, yeah, okay, we're gonna make that 1400 years in the past, and then we're not gonna say anything, and then maybe people are gonna figure it out. Crippled bridges. I gotta do map completion at some point, but I guess I'm working on it a little bit here. Submarine. Do we have, I think there's some arches. Are there some arches underwater here? I mean, I guess they are, right? Because this would have been at some point in time, this would have been on, this would have been above water, because the gods themselves destroyed this area because of Abaddon, right? And Abaddon's cathedral, like out here, isn't it? Out here somewhere? I don't remember the exact location, but I mean, we don't see a cathedral in any of the art, or maybe we do and we just don't know that we're seeing the cathedral of the gods. But yeah, so we have these spirits here as well. We see a lot of these different spirits. I wanted to kind of take note of some of these spirits at some point, and really maybe remember what spirits we deal with, because we have the spirit of sorrows here, but there's a lot of other spirits as well, and so I don't know if that's something that connects to those nature spirits that they talk about, because they're forces, I mean, they're creatures of nature, right? So I also want to look at today's video as well. I'll do that in a minute, but let me see, can we find the is it really this far out? It's not this far out, there's no way. Oh, it is. This is the temple, right? Yeah, I think this is the entrance to Abaddon's. Yeah, it is. The Plaza of Lost Wisdom. So this is the entrance to Abaddon's cathedral that was struck down and sunk to the bottom of the ocean by the gods themselves, which is pretty far out, right? I mean, that's pretty far out. We see that giant structure again over there. We do see this tower. We do see these structures a lot. We don't know if they're going to have any importance. They seem to be some kind of beacons. There's a lot of them around. This is the brass burn torch. Yeah, I think they refer to them as torches, I want to say. There's like the one we were just at. Yeah, Augur's torch. Harbinger torch, Death's Gaze torch. There's these weird torches all around. Thorn Dock. Came from land. That's the guy that's there. Bakir Sarai. Does that mean anything? Bakir? No. Here. Spelled that wrong. It's an Arabic name. Most common meanings is coming early or copper in Turkish. So they do Arabic names. Sarai. Palace or castle. So this is some kind of grand government building. So this is some kind of coming early grand government building. So this location on Winternell Isle. Brass Claw Landing. So that's very interesting that a lot of these names translate to things in Arabic. What is this area right here? This little plaza. Snipe Hill. Okay, well, it's kind of on the nose there. But yeah, there's no natural arches. Not that I can find. We're back to the roads we were at earlier. I think that Straits of Devastation is still the best ore map in showing architecture and showing buildings and that kind of stuff. Because we have, for example, we know that right over here, for example, in Malcor's Leap, we have... That's whatever, it doesn't matter. If we go, so this is where we would connect to the thing, but we have this area right here which you see farmers and bulls, and this is another bait. This is a Largen's house, I guess, or home. A Largen. Is primarily a geographical designation, place name, or surname. In Saudi Arabia is a notable valley located. So this is some kind of, it's just kind of, yeah, again, it's Arabic, and it's just some kind of farming thing. It's really interesting because this is one of the most random NPCs that we have here. So we have these farmers and these bulls, right? And when we talk to this researcher, as soon as we revive her, we can actually...
Knowledge is the greatest
Where are you
treasure.
going?
Greetings and salutations.
Word of warning, don't know how much experience you've had with the Risen, but you'll want to give them a wide berth. What are you doing here? The Priory sent me to observe the agrarian techniques of the Risen farmers, to note how farming techniques have changed in the 2.5 centuries since ore disappeared into the sea. What have you noticed? If you watch them, they do the same thing, tilling away at dead, barren soil with old, rotting implements day and night, despite the fact that nothing can grow here. It's just what they it's just what they know to do. They never stop. They will stop if you get too close, then they use that farm tool to attack you, not stopping until one of you is a lifeless heap on the same dead soil. If it's you, they simply go back to their tilling. Sounds tragic. The tragedy is they only kill because we're trespassing on their land. If we'd left them to their existence, they'd just be farmers, corrupted but peaceful. In a way, we're making them killers. Zaitan made them killers, is what we respond. But yeah, so this area was farmland, which is funny because right next to it, we actually find Kita Mans. And Kita Mans is really cool because we have this is like some kind of manor of a very important man in the history of ore, right? And we can kind of see the inside structure. They have these weird rooms and areas in here, and there's nobles in here. We have these torches that are purple because Kita was actually a mesmer, and we actually can go all the way down into the basement here. One of the only areas that we can go into the basement. There's a fight here in Guild Wars 2, which has nothing to do with the actual, you know, with the actual. Oh, that's kind of weird. You can go through this. I wonder if this was supposed to be a thing. Is there anything in this? Feels like there's something in it. Oh, there is something in it. There's a chest in here. It's open. It's an open chest in here. Oh, that's interesting. Weird. But yeah, and Kita actually had a skill. I believe it was a skill named after him. Well, we don't know. See, that's the thing. We don't know enough about ore to know why they use Arabic names. That's one of the mysteries. They do use it a lot, but we don't know enough about ore, or I guess they haven't told us enough about ore to know why they're using Arabic in their names. But they do use it everywhere. But Kita was an important character in Guild Wars, because, which is kind of weird. We see Kita's spirit in Guild Wars 1, and then in Guild Wars 2 we see, but it's a woman. But then in Guild Wars 2 we see him. He's a guy. But again, it could kind of play into the idea of them being a mesmer, but they have a skill named after them, which is Kita's Burden. It's a skill in Guild Wars 1, which for 10 seconds target foe moves 50% slower. When Kita's Burden ends, you gain energy, set amount of energy or whatever. Well, maybe this is a different, because this is a Canthan hero. So maybe this is a different Kita? I don't know. Maybe there's two different Kitas in the world of Guild Wars. I mean, it could be, because if we're talking about Cantha, right? We're very far from Cantha. What is that? Hello?
Behold, dragon and hero together.
Take that.
What is this? Some kind of urn or vase? Pulsating with green energy? Weird. But yeah, it's weird. Oh, there's another one there. Because Kita is a mesmer in both. I mean, in both areas. We have an ancient tome. Attack with the ancient tome. Yeah. Oh, we have an event here.
Probably coming from Orient relics, so keep your eyes open and watch each other's backs. And for Grent's sake, don't die.
We need to keep Zaitan from getting objects of power, right? Well, that includes me. No way I'm becoming some dragon's meat puppet.
How vividly put. But that's the right spirit. Let's get started.
Oh, let's do this event. See if we can get any info on this. You guys walk that slow with speed boost? That's terrible. Undead arm. Let me have it. I'll go beat some people with an undead arm. Yeah. Oh, great.
This relic possesses only minor power. I think I can defuse it.
So they're part of a quest or part of an event. Okay. I wonder what this event ends with. Oh my god, you guys, walk a little faster. Jesus. A slow-mo walk is terrible. Alright, come on.
Take that! Armored up. There's another one. But it's too small to explain the etheric surge.
Let's see what this brings.
Everyone, calm!
So tired.
Oh my god.
Looks like we're going down. Be ready for anything. There's a lot of ground to cover here. Spread out and see if you can find any relics.
Okay. So we're looking for relics. Emerald City. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if they find something. I can't search for anything. Can't talk to them, can I? No. Something gonna happen or no? They're not even searching. They're just like they're going here. Oh, I'm gonna look over here. I'm gonna look here. All right, I've looked everywhere. My God, every corner. I wonder if something else will pop up. There's no way this just ends, right? I mean, this is quite a long time. I mean, these NPCs have to reset too. So if we wait long enough, something is gonna happen. Either they're gonna leave or... I don't know. Really? This... Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Let's see here. Okay, so apparently Lord Kita is a different person. It's not the same hero. No, what the hell? What's so weird? What is the... Wait a minute. Okay. I'm getting clear signals. That event is more fun. There's a ground to cover. Spread out and see if you can find any event. This event has a tendency to not spawn due to the explorers becoming stuck inside. after being successfully completed once. Event failures occurs if all threes are dead at the same time. But we finished this. Upon success. So there's another one that's supposed to... Yeah, so Kita is actually supposed to... The Kita Conjurer is supposed to spawn. This event has a tendency to not spawn after successfully completing the previous event. You think power like this comes from a relic? Wrong, that's my strength. My old master mocked my power, but Zaitan gave me more. Come to me, let your dark blood heal me. The reason of the surge, we smashed him. The surge was caused by an undead conjurer. Zaitan had made him incredibly strong. We smashed him too, and his creepy lackeys. Well then, that's good. Okay, so we don't get anything interesting in here. I guess it's bugged. Great, love it. Thanks, ArenaNet. Thanks, ArenaNet. All right, so we'll get out of here. Okay. All right, but yeah, so we have like a manor here, and that's right next to the farmlands. We also have like one of the biggest mysteries, and someone actually mentioned this. Oh, we do have the Orion history scrolls. We can actually read a lot of things here. The sinking of ore. So we read that last time. Nothing interesting there. The Third Guild War. This is right before Guild Wars 1. What's wrong?
Truth and knowledge are two different things.
This shard barely makes up for its pungent odor. Oh boy.
History never lies. Historians, however.
Yeah, why does 1901 magic? Why are so many scrolls scattered around this place? I believe that arming ourselves with knowledge. Okay, whatever. Everyday magic. We read this yesterday, I want to say. What the hell? Oh, they're training. We read that yesterday. Anything else interesting here? Hold on. City. Yeah, we read all that. The tragedy of Malcor. We read all that. So this is where you find these scrolls. Yeah, that's where we read about the gods. So we read all of these yesterday. Actually, on the wiki, I read them. But is there anything else? There's another one here. King Dor, King Reza.
Rely on your knowledge.
So what is this area? Sheltered docks. But yeah, one of the biggest mysteries is over here. We have this thing right there. We don't know what that is. It's never been described in the game. This is a metal forest, so whatever this is changed the wheeled wood on the changed into Pyrite Peninsula. Holds an ancient Orion mystery, an orb wielding great and unknown force. It has gilded the forest around it and lends a burst of power to any who commune with it. So yeah, we don't know what this is. Some weird orb. And we don't know what the meaning behind it is. Oh my god, so bright. I was trying to see if there's anything interesting in there. Very random. Some random object that has turned the entire forest or the entire area around it into metal, into pyrite. So that's curious. Right, that's another curiosity there. Old John. Okay. So we can drink out of an old jar. Oh my god, I'm running out of space. We're running out of space. Oh, I want to get this. What is this area called? The Shark's Tooth Isle. Yeah, we saw. I want to look at like today's video as well in a minute. There was a video, or there was an image posted that on Discord that I think is absolutely perfect, and not something I discussed in today's video as well. I've always wanted to go under here and see, because we can fly now. So that lets us go. Yeah, so you can go into this camp area here. We've always been able to do that. There's the camp right underneath. And then you can swim out. You can swim to the area that we were just at. But you can also, now we can fly up here. We can actually see what's in here. And we see some debris floating in midair. I don't think that's supposed to be there, but... so the Cathedral of Lissa is above us. Reflection Cove. Okay. Oh, that's above me. What is this island? Mirror's Handle. Again, very Lissa. You know, Lissa, the goddess of beauty, using mirrors and reflections and things like that. But we have more magical things that shine. Seal of Union, Union Waypoint. Big arches, but nothing natural. We get a good view of the area. This is where we saw the scrolls. No, scrolls were over here. That's where the orb was that we just looked at. That is a whole different area. I don't even know what that is. Eastern Colonnade. But yeah, some of this was like a giant arch, right? Structure of some kind. So I think we're gonna see some really cool stuff, and especially if we see some floating stuff above it.
Eat my dust. Like
if we see some floating islands and stuff, with like maybe have the temples be floating. I could totally see Dwayna's and Lissa's temples, cathedrals floating, right? The Cathedral of Zephyrs really looks like that could be a floating orb or something.
Urge to kill rising.
That's the village of Ren. So let me download this picture, because that picture is really, really cool. Image 2. There. Alright. Let's look at that. How do I... Okay, I don't know how to... Okay, so let's look at today's image. I do want to do that. Okay, so we have this, right, which is really, really cool. There was like a couple of things that I noticed that feel very, so we can clearly see, right, that art, right? We have seen that art before. We've seen that art. That's them fighting that creature, right? In the video, we see these guys, some weird like fiery dragon spirit thingies. And we also see these guys. Again, they look kind of Sylvari-esque because they're very green. So I don't know, but the one thing that I think is really, really, really cool is if we look at this guy, right? So we have this weird, like, you know, planty, nature spirity guy. And we see him multiple times because he's right here as well. And we see him again over here. You can see it's that same, like when you look at the like head piece there, it's the same as like this head thing. The weird swirlies coming out. So we have like three different pieces of art that all look like that. We also have like this foresty area or whatever that's supposed to be, some kind of, you know, we see a lot of red in all this art. There's some down here, there's some down here. We see this like wolf creature. Then we do see, like, I mean, these look like just golems, maybe the new versions of golems, like, or elementals or something. But yeah, this sea creature looking thing looks like a giant sea creature. I mean, it has like a person to scale next to it, probably a human. So this is a large creature. Is this like a leviathan or something? Are we gonna have underwater? Right, we've seen that piece of art, we've seen that piece of art. Like, these are all the art that we've already seen. That we haven't seen, but we've seen all that. It would be really interesting to see what this is too. But like, these pieces are all the art that they've already shared with us. Then we have some kind of buffalo yak, dole yak kind of thing. Like a weird griffin-y looking thing that almost looks like a sky scale. Again, could this be one of these other nature spirit thingies that we see? I would love to see this art actually be released. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see this art be released over the next whatever. Like, I find it such a shame that they didn't release any new art today, and they actually used two images, or one image twice, which is kind of a shame, you know. So, but yeah, this is really cool to me. I mean, we can like kind of speculate on some of the stuff, but again, not enough to really make. I mean, we can see them, we can make out people, so there's some kind of big structure with a hole underneath it. I don't know what that is. This looks like wings, maybe, of some kind of creature, some kind of dragon-like creature, maybe. I don't know what that is. Problem is with concept art like that, once it gets blurry, it just, I mean, it's just shapes and colors. It becomes very hard to make out anything. So I don't know. But yeah, Aura is a very interesting place because we see a lot of it, but we don't get to hear. Saliabate is right here, right? Like, we don't get to see a lot of things. And we also don't get to see one thing that's really, really cool about Aura, as, you know, what we see in Guild Wars 3 versus what they could potentially do, is they, you know, we don't get to see inland, right? Like, we have the road. Again, we have a road here, you know. We know that the road from over here, you know, it went along here, went down here, and then we go in here. And then this road kind of splits here at the Theater of Delight, where you can go the southern route across here, or you can go up here into this and then take that road. And it goes further, 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 all the way into this, right? But we also have that there's a road here from the temple that leads into some kind of structure, into some kind of large structure. I mean, this looks like there's like a tunnel that would lead deeper into some kind of watery area of ore. Like, is this the entrance to the new map? Is that where they're going to put the new map? I mean, that would be a fairly small map. I mean, they could do like Because the thing is, are we gonna get Ara as a map? Because Ara is right here, right? So are they gonna just give us this as the new map and just like layer it a lot? Have like a little bit of a smaller map? I mean, it wouldn't be, you know, it would be kind of a small map. What's comparative to that? Nothing really. All the other core maps are larger, and especially these maps, and these maps are huge, right? So if we compare something like this to something as large as the Path of Fire maps, but I mean, Dragonfall is about that same size, right? So something the size of Dragonfall, and that could fit right in here because it could fit right above where this is. Right next to Siren's Landing. Would we have a connection from Siren's Landing? We can look at there and see if there's... Because clearly we have something here where they could put a gate, right? They could put a gate right here. That would be the access point. We can see if there's anything down here or down here. There is... Isn't there something up on these? Oh, there's the mastery point up here. I remember you can go up there. So let's kind of explore that area and see if we can... So we could have a gate here to the new map. This doesn't really lead into anything. Can we go inside of this? Ooh. Oh, we can. Okay, there's nothing here. Let's see if there's another. And then we have the waterfalls. I don't think they would do anything with that. And then we have on the far side.
Eat my dust.
Where the mastery point is. See, we can actually go like way up here, and it actually goes kind of into the back there. There is a jumping puzzle here. There's this jumping puzzle where you have to collect these orbs all around. And so you collect these orbs. I mean, obviously this was way harder at the start of Guild Wars 2 because you didn't have mounts or gliding, so you had to run everywhere and do that. And like there was no gliding, there was none of that. So if you fell and you died, you had to go back to the waypoint. See, this guy's doing it without, I don't know if he even, oh, he has a mount. Okay, let's say, is he doing it? How many more do I need? Did I get all of them? I didn't get all of them. There was no way I did. Oh, no. Okay, so I got these. I can open this chest. Wait, what? You cannot organize. I thought I got all the things. Oh, I deposit them. 1, 2, and so now I can open this chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have that. Was that something on my bar? Was there something there that told me that? I think there's some orbs that are underneath. Is there one underneath? Is there one like down here somewhere? Yep, down here. Ooh, there's an orb hidden in here. Oh my goodness. Did I get this orb? I think I did earlier. Yeah, I got this earlier. What other orbs do we have? I don't know how far. Oh, there's one way over here. So it goes this far out, but we're way behind the waterfalls that we looked at earlier and stuff. I don't know if they would put a way, like a gate in here or something. Wasn't there some? There was some underwater too. Actually, I have a memory of us having to go into the water and finding like an orb in a corner here somewhere. Isn't there one in the corner? Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, it gives me an inventory item. I have 4 of them. Nothing there. Nothing over there. Anything down here? Anything else in the water? What is this? There's a few more orbs that I'm missing for sure. Really only 1 in the water? That's interesting. I got that. I got that one. Probably is more like over here. Oh, was there one down here? Did I just... Maybe over here? No, this is how you enter this area. But I got that orb. Definitely missing some. Is there some way further up? How would you even get there, though? Did I get this one? I did, and I got that one. I don't think there's anything even further up. Oh, do I have that one? I do. And I have that one. What am I missing? So we have that. I need 3 more. Is there only a set amount? What is this called? Scavenger's Chasm? I believe is what it was called. Let me look it up. Scavenger's Chasm. 12. Orb 12. Is it 12 orbs? 6 and 6, right? Yeah, so there is 12 orbs. So just gotta be better. So there have to be more orbs around here. What do I need? 2 more or something like that? I'm looking at all the little nooks and crannies. This is probably the weirdest jumping puzzle that they ever did. Ooh, I don't have that. Look at that. Okay. I have 1. think I just need one more, is that right?
Urge to kill rising.
Or, oh no, 2 more. Yeah, I need 2 more. Jeez. Okay. Sure. I've done the jumping puzzle before, but it's been like a good decade since I last have. Maybe there's more like underwater that I missed? I mean, there's a lot of areas underwater. So we only found 1 underwater in that area there. But I went in there, there was nothing there. There's nothing here. I mean, I have the solution with Skyscale. Got those. Pretty sure I got all those. Jump in the water. Go in there. Get the one. I got the one in the water. Go on the ramp. Fly up here. I got that orb. I got that orb. Oh my god, leave me alone. Yeah, because they went. What? What? Oh my god, what do you mean it wasn't enough space to... Oh, that one is like tugged away. Where is that? Swim. Okay, there's another one in the... Okay, there's one underwater. That I'm missing. Did I get this one? I did get this one. But this is where they're telling me to go in the water. So we go in here. Oh, in here? That's what they're saying. Oh, there must be one super hidden away. In like a little nook. Little nookie. That's how I get it out. Really? Where? Wait a minute. We say go down there, go east into the hole, and then go southeast. In here. It's saying in here somewhere. What? Oh. Ah. Look at that. Hidden away. Okay, so we got one. This one. Fly up. Look east and fly up from the one. Oops. Okay, hold on. We're almost there, you guys. Fly up from this one right here. Look east and fly up in here. Oh, didn't I get this one? Got this one. Okay. So maybe one of the ones I didn't get. Yeah, okay, I got that one. fly here, look up. Fly here, fly up into the thing. Is that it? That's it right there. Oh my god, so... Oh! I can't control it. There it is. Got it. Oh my god. Look at how random all these locations are. We did it. Alright, cool. Let's finish that. Boom, done. Ta-da! So that was a cool little jumping puzzle. But yeah, anyways, so that takes us pretty far to this area over here. I wanna look on this side, see if there's anything they can utilize for like a path. Because I want to show you guys something. There was for when they announced Siren's Landing, and I remember, I don't know if I did this on stream or if I wanted to make a video on it or what it was. Wait a minute. I wasn't making video at the time, right? Because that's season 3 and I hadn't started actually making any videos for Guild Wars 2. So it must have been streaming, or maybe that was like right before I started streaming. No, because I didn't start streaming until like well into... What was there? What is down there? Oh, that's the whole area underneath the... Is that the area? Yeah. Catacomb area. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe, or maybe I wanted to make a post about it somewhere or something. But there is right over there, you guys can see it already. So I thought that would be the entrance, which was really cool, because I was like, well, where are they gonna do the next Orion map, right? And I was like, let me go look around to see if there's an area that they could go to. And I found this place, right? This looks almost like a little gate that they kind of had, right? And it look, you know, I mean, obviously you can't see Siren's Landing, but Siren's Landing is right behind it. So that was one of the things that I remember. I was like, oh, you know what? I bet that this is the path through there. Of course, I hated it because they don't actually connect these maps with each other, which is really, really annoying. I really wish they did. I like that they have the Balthazar's reliquary behind the Cathedral of Glory's Victory. That's really good. I like that. But let's go in here and let's see what they have. And then I'm probably going to end the stream after that. Unless, you know, we get more people in here or something. But yeah, I don't know how they could... well, this is south. Hey, I do love Siren's Landing, though.
Surrounded by beauty, the Risen will surely find the path to recovery.
Do we have any natural arches here? But we actually do. We actually get some archiness here. Any others? We get this foresty area here. Actually looking at the landscape for once. We get a big tower here too.
Urge to kill rising.
We got a lot of big towers here, actually. Abaddon's reliquary. I mean, maybe that's what we're looking at. I do want to look at that in a second, but let me go on the far side here. Past this.
Hey, you!
Yes, you, with glider.
Get over here and help me.
Whee! There's really nothing there they could use on a, or like a door. Or like a pathway. Duena's Tears, you push the locals of power. Leyline Scavengers. You have some spiders here. Some spidey friends. Yeah, you can go in there too. This area has so much verticality. Yeah, but I doubt they would connect it to this map, honestly. I feel like that wouldn't really fit. Having a core map connected like that. Because they didn't do it with the other ones, so why would they do it with this? What is this called? Overgrown gazebo. A friendly?
I feel strong.
Leave or die. I killed Zaitin and I'll kill you too. Does he turn evil? No, he does not. Weird. I don't remember that. Mercenary. Oh, is this the first hint from, or, oh no, they had mercenaries around. Yeah, I don't think they could connect it, but I do want to look at kind of, because the arches here and the towers here are really interesting. They look a lot more like what they're showing in the concept art and the trailer and stuff. Because we do have that big tower right over here, which is, I forgot the name of it. The Arm of Abaddon. That's right. That's south of, because that's the Vizier's Tower here. South of that. Interesting. But yeah, we get these really cool arches here, and we get some natural arches. Like the only natural arches that we see anywhere on the map in Guild Wars 2 is like right here. There's a couple of land arches like that. With big towers around it. Oh, I love that there's a... Why is there a thing in here? Really? You can come all the way Watchman's Roost? Wow, that's crazy. That's tall. That's very, very high. Oh, I wish I had that tool that removes the fog and you could see all the things. There's a if you do what's it called? There's that visual, I forgot what that thing is called, but there's a visual thing where you can remove all the fog, and then you see it. I mean, it makes it look really ugly because the fog is there to kind of not reveal the random pop-ins and stuff like that you get, but nonetheless. This is the area where they teach you about the music as well, which is really interesting. And that's going to be something that I want to look for as well. Is they have these sirens and this the musical thing that they did here in Siren's Landing. We're going to see if that's going to be a part of that as well. Should you fail to rally yourself the next time you fall in battle, the magic zone will trigger and you will be revived. Interesting. What is this? Oh. Why was I not revived? Oh, there it is.
You may now perform the dirge and see how it affects the choir of foes and choir of allies.
You can get all of them right here.
Please do
And we have all 5. Boom. Oh, we got a mushroom guy from the Melandru. Look at all that. It's a great graphic, too. Having that. Tell me about the Chancel of Echoes again, please. Remind me about the different songs. Dirge of Balthazar. And Foe. What about Abaddon and Cormia? Ancient sirens closely guarded Abaddon's dirge. Their echoes are so faint now, drowned out by the multitudes singing the songs of the other gods. And Cormia, I know not of whom you speak. What is that roaming mass of darkness? That field demonstrates the power of Dwayna's preservation of life. While you're warded by the dirge of Dwayna, that field will consume your life force, allowing you to the ward right here to activate. Okay. Remind me of the different songs. It's a manifestation of magic beyond time. Sirens' voices fade as time passes, but they remain and are drawn to the presence of other sirens. Their power is further amplified by the sounds of combat. This one is always here. This is our gallery, where sirens through the ages have practiced the songs of our gods. In this place I easily maintain an active Chancel of Echoes for training. How does it work again? Interact with the user will coalesce. Which god's songs? Whichever crescendoed to dominance. Alternatively speak with the choir. Tell me about the songs. Interesting. Yeah, we have that as well, right? There's a whole music aspect of that they introduced with Siren's Landing and stuff, and talking about the reliquaries and whatever. So we'll see if there's part of that as well, because I'm sure they're going to be adding like musical instruments and things, and I wonder if that will be influenced by it or something. I'm not sure. So Bodinus hanging out.
I'm trapped, and my
Hello.
priceless artifacts is in danger. Help me, please.
I'm ready to go.
Help me, please. Do, 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 do. We have some explorers here that hang out at her camp and don't help her at all. Interact. Oh, the parables. So the abuses read on. I understand, says the woman. And now, Greta, I give you a choice. You may come with me and watch your husband suffer for the wrongs he has done, or you may walk away and I will claim you only when it's your time. I gave my husband my love and life, but will come now to see this tale's end and to share his suffering. It will hurt me more to know what I'm witnessing. Yeah, and you can read these as well. Page 1.
He was huge, and he looked just like the drawings I've seen of him.
It was probably a Norn in costume.
I don't think so. It doesn't fit.
And he popped in through a portal, then headed for the Balthazar reliquary.
Yes, I followed him. And when he got there, he spoke with the Ghost Queen. She knelt before him, and he's got human followers there. Murderous ones.
Maybe what we're doing here is working, and the human gods are taking notice.
Read on. The farmhead called him. What business have we here? I seek shelter from the coming storm. Would you invite me to your hearth? Writing out some. No, I cannot. Sad in the travel, wished the farmer well and pushed onward. But then he found a family who gave him hospitality. The farmer suffered the darkest night of his life. A tree fell on his house, crushing his leg. He did not call to Dwayna for help, as he knew he didn't deserve it. For him, the morning never came. Ooh, interesting. Stepped a child into the campfire's life. She said, I am Lissa, and I've come to teach you what is illusion and what is truth. But the soldiers did not believe her. They laughed and said, if you're Lissa, then show us your beauty, for we can surely use it on this dark night. We have lost hope that this war will end. We don't know which war they're talking about. Again, too, that could be important. The child approached and her smile held.
See if that really was Balthazar you saw.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why not? We're alive to witness the return of a god.
And in the next instant die in a ball of god flame.
The child approached, and her smile held divine grace. Share your food with me, and in return for your kindness, I will show you beauty, the likes of you you will never see again. And so the kind soldiers did, and the child ate with ravenous hunger. When the last bone had been tossed aside and the last bean swallowed, the child began to skip around the outside of the campfire. She touched each man on his head one at a time as they laughed and jibbed her until one at a time they fell into deep slumber. Each man dreamed a different dream, but each dream was a vision of the life they would lead once the war was over. Wives, children, riches, open air, health, and peace. And when they awoke upon the morrow, the child was gone, and the enemy had arrived. They fought joyfully with all their might because they had remembered their dreams and knew they would win the war. Each man put his heart and soul into the battle, and each man one at a time was slaughtered. Wow. Crazy, huh? Melander. One day the goddess Melander came upon a den of foxes, and she heard within the hungry cries of kids. She bent her ear to the ground and learned that the mother fox had been killed by a farmer. The cubs were doomed to starve to death, and thus was the way of nature. Melander sought out the farmer and asked him why he had killed...
I believe in powerful beings we don't understand. Does that count?
I'd say it does, yes.
The cubs were doomed to starve, and thus was the way of nature. Melander sought out the farmer and asked why he had killed the fox, thus condemning its kids to death. The farmer explained that the fox had killed one of his chickens, and therefore he had taken his vengeance upon the fox. Thus, said Melander, is the way of nature. Later that year, the farmer prayed to her, calling her name in his darkest moment. In his presence, she saw that he was in mourning and asked what happened. Wolves, he said, had taken my daughter. Can you not bring her back to me? Melander was not unkind, as she said, no, thus is the way of nature. So we get this like really almost cruel, almost like, you know, they just, I don't know, they're kind of interesting, the gods there in those parables.
You can never have too much treasure.
You can never have too much treasure. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. There's not a lot going on. I'm almost like 4 hours and there's really nothing. No one's here. So, but yeah, for those of you watching, I appreciate you guys. There will be more videos coming. I don't know if I'm going to continue streaming like as much as I did this week. But whenever there's something interesting for Guild Wars, I will make a video. And if it's something really, really good that I want to stream about, I will definitely do that as well. But yeah, there's more videos coming out. There's more shorts that I want to work on that I'm probably going to make some next week or something. We'll see. But yeah, anyways, I appreciate you guys very much. And I'm going to go to... I don't know if I'm going to go to bed, but I need to get up and move a little bit. So I appreciate you guys very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.